Well, for me, 3D Max going into the whole tournament, for me, top 2 favorites. I mean, I had them up there with, I mean, to me, winning the tournament, but I thought it was possible completely if, say, a Liquid or a FaZe just kind of battled their way with individuals. Whereas, on the other hand, the expectations for Fnatic for me were maybe win one series.
I've got to cut you off there, Maui. Thank you so much, as always, for your thoughts. Same to you, Prof. It looks like this one is ready to go. So let's head on to the server and throw it over to Neokai and Scriv.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. We are into the action here, of course. Looking forward to getting into this. There's a lot to talk about, and I think that the desk has only just scratched the surface with this one. No wasting time. Straight peek in mid here from 3D Max. They will get the first kill as well. So able to open things up. BlameF holding out in Banana and nearly loses his head. Not quite, but able to back off and fight a little bit later on. However, it looks very, very good for 3D Max. Unless Jacasmo, the new blood, can get anything done. I mean, that second is pretty quick before he goes down. Maybe he has created some space here.
Yeah, welcome into playoffs. We are straight into the action. B-side's taken. Maka gonna clear back. It's really all about Blame here. He's got to buy a little bit of time for this rotation to come over, but they can't deny this bomb going down. Post-spawn setup, XSC, shoulder spotted. 2 around the corner, but they're both very low as well. Jambo quick on the trade, but he has got a sliver HP to work with. In this 2 versus 2, Maka resets himself, but he might be walking straight in towards Fear. He loses his head as Maka finds it, all on the shoulders of a very low Jambo to bail them out here in the 1 versus 2. Does not have a kit. He should be dead to rights in a spot like this, and time so far ticked. 3D Max playing the patient game. And it feels like this won't change. It's going to be the first round going the way of the French side as Maka closes it. A fantastic pistol from him. 3 kills to his name. And 3D Max start really, really well in towards their map pick. For those, of course, only just joining us, the veto is Inferno to kickstart things, Train to follow, Dust2 the Decider. And I think as Parla was saying as well, for me, if 3D Max want any chance at this series, they've got to do it in 3. I don't see them being able to take this Inferno. We've caught a lot of 3D Max recently, especially, you know, we did kind of the Perfect World Challenge. This is a map in which was very, very kind of prevalent in their map pool. They're very good at the moment. I think they're easily the best team at this tournament on this map specifically. Fnatic got a really, really tall task ahead of them, but let's see. Early util damage dealt on towards the T side. It's a forced buy back in response from Fnatic as Jambo brings out the scout. BlameF's got himself a rifle as well, so still a bit of a precarious one. They've got to be kind of cautious here, 3D Max, not to overextend.
Could be a pretty well-timed nade here. Big damage definitely on the cards.
Start.
Nice, fine. The trade of the nade, though, is pretty clean. BlameF on this upgraded M4. Pretty rare to see. Fear's going to lose his head through the smoke. Kind of a wild round. A lot of very, very cheeky kills. But like I say, this M4 still in play.
Oh, yeah.
Close enough. Nice find to give the numbers across to Fnatic here. The digits, of course, punched in. But can they really hold on to this bomb site? Not got loads of time to secure the post plant. Some decent re-smokes will allow them that. Crim's coming in from Banana. He's at the very least going to get information that they are both in towards this site area, but, you know, scout on the retake, lack of kit, obviously not going to be ideal. Crim's moves up to this Galil, so keep your eyes on him and what he's able to do. There's not loads of time remaining, to be honest. XSC just has to play that clock, and I think he will get this one done. Still, some very, very, very good damage coming in from Fnatic. They will both cross each other, and don't know if BlameF survives, actually. Yeah, he's a bit too close to the bomb. All the same, 3D Max take number 2.
Yeah, I mean, that's a work for that one, though. It's very expensive, but in the end, all that really matters, the round put on the board by 3D Max. They've got a bit of a point to prove as well. You know, they did an interview yesterday, and they were sort of saying, 3D Max, that we actually are the favorites, and we're going to play like favorites, right? We believe, and that's good to see, right? They have that belief that we can go the whole way, and I think the kind of spot they're in, it's hard to disagree with it, right? I mean, 3D Max are the remaining teams. They've got to be seen now as probably the clear favorites. They play the best brand of Counter-Strike at the moment. Since Graviti's taken over the reins as the IGL as well, this side look revitalized. I mean, you know me, I've been a bit of a disliker of the 3D Max style of play, but not since Graviti's been the IGL. It's a more refreshed look at how they approach Counter-Strike, and their identity seems really reformed for 3D Max. It's difficult to break down now as well, and there's a lot more pace behind these rounds as well. So an interesting side to watch, and I think for Fnatic as well. Obviously, they've got Jacasmo coming in for this tournament. It's their second time playing with him, but the first time with this full lineup. There still is going to be ever so slight teething issues here and there. 3D Max, they're just such a secure unit at the moment. A group up towards Banana. If they don't fix it, right? They've been taking a lot of this early B control and getting good space. And speaking of, Jacasmo's going to be tested here momentarily.
Molotov's over the top. Actually pretty early on into the exchange, you feel. 3D Max just move up Banana and go straight in for the execute, no messing around. Jacasmo drops. That should be that, in all honesty. Some bits of utility were available for the CT side, but they've just not created anything. And I think, you know, you look at this, it's like Crim's Fear, they'll just hold on to the Kevlar. So, makes total sense. But yeah, to pick up on what you were saying about where the shift of IGLing's come in, I think they've added a bit more structure, a bit more discipline seems to be the way that they have changed things. And I think it sort of comes down to kind of a watered down version of French Counter-Strike, perhaps. You have obviously a couple of old guard players who at one time, they were the fresh blood within the French scene, in Body and Lucky in particular, but Maka I think also fits into that. And for a long time there, the French style was probably one of the more aggressive styles in the world. And I think that now there's been a shift within this team that it's like, if we want to compete against the higher teams, you have to be able to do a bit of everything. There was kind of a period in Counter-Strike for a while, maybe, you know, 7 or 8 years ago now, where you could have one style and get really good at that and then kind of compete for tournaments.
Yeah.
But I think Astralis especially caused a really big shift in being able to bring some variety and be the jack of all trades. And it seems 3D Max might have taken their scene a bit of time to catch up to that, but they really do have a fresh look. I think that, yeah, is a very good way of describing it.
Yeah, it was like, I feel like the previous 3D Max, the way they approached CS, and of course they had a kind of variety of callers then, but it really was like an old school style of calling. It really felt like a bit more of an aged approach, and I think it is just nice, and it's sort of fresh now. And also, you know the coach, the new coach of 3D Max, I feel like he's changed quite a lot for this side, but for the better. A 3-0 start, but it will be a buy back in for Fnatic following this tech pause. They got money to work with. They actually do have the money for an AWP as well if they want to. Blame can drop one over towards Jambo. He can have a rifle. So it still could be a bit of a kind of precarious one. And of course, this is generally considered a bonus buy for 3D Max. So in a round like this, if you're able to convert it, you put yourself at such a lead, such a nice bit of breathing room because you still have so much residual cash left over. But in all honesty, if you're able to get a bomb plant and like 2 or 3 kills, that's still sort of seen as a bit of a win, just in the sense that you really do hinder that econ a bit. Looks like a tech issue on the side of Fnatic, judging by the fact that they haven't invested in. So hopefully only a brief one. Of course, first games on the stage. Can be a few that we have to work out early doors.
Yes, I think so. I think so. You know, do whatever you do in your neck of the woods for good luck. We would say touch wood. I know Maui might say knock on wood, which is one that's always confusing.
The American,
why it's different.
Yeah. Why? I don't even know why we do that. Why do we say touch wood?
I guess it's just something that's like maybe always around.
Yeah.
Connected to the earth traditionally. I don't know.
Connected to the earth.
Yeah, well, like
look at you getting all
you know, yeah, a little spiritual with it. But I'm talking, when's this coming about? You know, like 500 years ago when people had trees in their garden or something. I don't know. I'm making it up.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh my, you're not even wrong. We say touch wood for luck because of ancient superstitions.
Oh my goodness.
And primarily that benevolent spirits and trees.
Oh my goodness.
could be called upon for protection, or that evil spirits need to be distracted from hearing your good fortune. There we go. You are one with the spirits, mate.
I am a knower. Pointless facts. I'm your guy. Useless information. I'm your guy. Alrighty, we are back into it here. as indeed it did not last all that long. So it worked, whatever you did, guys out there. But yeah, to bring it back, we've got this bonus buy, as you say. Pretty heavy bonus buy, I think, from 3D Max is maybe one of my issues. Again, you got to try and work against the instincts, but it would have been good to maybe see another rifle here. You really do pigeonhole yourself into a certain approach in this round. Jambo has been waiting for a good couple minutes to get away with that peek. And they do indeed play to the parameters here. Nice and pacey through the apartments. Jambo missing a few shots there. Still even as the dust settles here on the A-bomb side, but 3D Max, bomb plant on the cards.
Really had to hit that one of those shots coming out from balcony, and unfortunately for Jambo, a little bit flustered in that situation. Honestly, if you're Fnatic in this spot, you might even start to angle for the save as well. Time starts to tick, and I mean, sure, there's a kit in play on the back pocket of Fear, but if you can't get an early kill, you just don't have the kind of the time, the space to clear all of these angles. So I think, yeah, you can see it now. Unfortunately, a little bit of kind of where we're at with Inferno, a bit of that save simulator, but I can't really blame Fnatic here. The thing that we're talking about, though, that was a bonus round for 3D Max. They came in with 3 Mac 10s, 2 AKs, and they make a round of that stick. It puts you in such a good position. It's not massively expensive for Fnatic. They can still buy back in towards this next round. But it's just the fact that statistically, you have such a small chance considering it's 3 Mac 10s against that real full buy of Fnatic. And actually, credit to 3D Max, that's such a good tempo change, right? They understand the situation they're in. We don't have a lot in terms of long-range kind of rifles. You have 2 to work with. Let's get the Mac 10s up close and personal. And they do exactly that. Pop in towards Boiler, take a rifle, swing through in towards short and out of balcony. And like we were saying, Jambo, he's just got to hit one of those shots. Even if he gets one shot there, that round is, the whole landscape of that round is so different. Then you really are tempted to go in. It's a 2 versus 3 on the retake, favorable, but not to be that time. Jacasmo, he eats that nade, but he gets away just about alive as he finds Maka. He'll finally fall to the hands of Lucky. There's still more damage dealt both ways. Body and Lucky tagged a little low, but Fear not exactly super healthy himself, and he might be about to eat another nade. It actually goes deeper on towards Crims. The molly comes through as well. That'll isolate the fight. That's a good play from 3D Max just to split up this defense towards B.
Yeah, 2 Molotovs as well, right, which really forces him forwards. He cannot escape. Had to take a fight in it. Goes south. So 3D Max looking very good here. This is one of the things you have to maybe worry about, right? First game in the arena, first game of the day as well, and Fnatic struggling to get off the ground, a bit nervy in places. 3D Max, this is why they maybe consider themselves one of the favorites as well. They're very comfortable in this environment by now.
Yeah.
Maybe about a year ago, they could have been nervous, but I think they are extremely ready. And you can certainly see that they get to kick off on a really, really, really solid map for themselves as well. So everything looking up for 3D Max. We'll see if they can fully convert things here. The M4 moving through the smoke. Whoa, Jambo on the Deagle. Maybe a flame effort. Also gotten an unlikely kill. We could have been talking about it, but not going to happen. Exorcist on high, who's a man that I think has been sort of freed up a bit in this 3D Max team recently with all these structural and IGL changes.
Yeah, he's definitely the one, right? For me. I mean, we spoke about this so much at the Perfect World Challenge, where it was the guy that really feels like it has been revitalized over towards 3D Max is Exorcist. He looks so confident. He looks a lot freer, as we kind of talk about. I think he's given a lot of kind of free space to express himself a little bit, and it's been fun to watch. I feel like he's backing himself in a lot of these fights. And hey, so far so good. 7 kills for him, 2 in this round. Body will fall, but XSC should be able to trade here. He can't as Crims doubles down. I don't think it's going to have too much of an effect on the round. He'll get out with the save. It's still another round for 3D Max, but at the very least, Fnatic is still keeping things expensive. Either way, it's a 5-0 start on Inferno. It's been such a good map for 3D Max, and it continues to be the case. And I think for, you know, kind of touching on the point that you were bringing up, right, for Fnatic, at the moment, it feels like they're playing pretty standard in terms of a default setup, but I think they're showing a little bit too much respect, right? They need to make life uncomfortable. This is a 3D Max side that are actually playing with a really good amount of pace at the moment. They're happy to fly into fights. You have to sort of meet them on that ground, right? I think the only way to really slow 3D Max down, make life uncomfortable for them, is fight fire with fire. Get aggressive, get up in their face, stop them taking so much early map control that they have so much area to kind of move around.
Yeah. Especially in a round like that, where you're on the lower buy, you're not really expected to take it conventionally. So you do have to throw a spanner in the works. And they just don't. We have attack coming in here. 5 in a row, of course, for 3D Max. They're a bit glowing, it would appear. And yeah, we've got to get some conversation going. And a very sort of quick one, it feels, as well. I think the vibe check with the team is probably what they've gone over. Tactically, it's not all that deep on the CT side of Inferno, but just keeping the comms up. Not letting it get to them. Oh, lovely moves here. BlameF with the touchdown nade. I mean, that's not even what it was designed for. It was to break the smoke, but he gets a kill for good measure. And a solid man advantage for probably the first time on this map for Fnatic.
Oh, it's a bold swing by Jacasmo, but he's going to get 2 for it. As he finds Graviti as well. All on the shoulders of excl. We were just singing his praises, but this is a next to impossible round. A 1 versus 5 for the Frenchman. One recovered. I mean, sure, he's got plenty of time, but what do you do in a spot like this? He has no idea about how many players are actually even towards B. You know, there's a lot of presence here. He's also got to be so cautious. There will be a flank brewing at some point. It's something he's got to have in the back of his mind. Jacasmo playing deep in towards dark. Actually, he's got a molly, got a smoke as well. Smoke CT, molly dark, or molly new box. Either way would be good, but he's going for contact. Oh, he spots the shoulder of fear. That's where the molly comes down. Smoking towards front side as well. Jacasmo shoulder spotted. That's 2 players found out. The CT player of BlameF, though, is the one to see it off. It's a flawless round for Fnatic, and that's the type of round they want to see. And just what we were talking about as well, right? Don't show respect. Get up in their face. Play aggro, and they do exactly that in towards car. That's been the default so far for 3D Max. Take top car control. They don't even need to use it, but take it, and then you have so many different options of whether we then late rotate back over towards A, which we've done a couple of times, and go for a late pop out of balcony, or continue that push forward in towards B. That time, they start the numbers. Well done by Fnatic. A lot better. Can't afford to be a flash in the pan. They've got to start building a bit of consistency off of that. And well, mid control taken early, which is really nice by Fnatic. It's the deep smoke that really can give them a lot of options.
Yeah, they seem to have got a newfound confidence in the past couple of rounds since that timeout. And almost exactly on the money, as you said, that they just need to get in the face, not give as much respect. And it does seem like that has been the change-up, and it has indeed worked for one, and just, again, gives them that tweak of control into this round that will keep 3D Max guessing, at least early on in the round. Top banana control coming in. Oh, I'd get that released. Yeah, they're a little giddy on the other side of things. They really do want to push through towards this B bomb site sooner rather than later. A lack of utility here as well for 3D Max means that there's just not a lot of options other than pushing forwards. The only way is through here for this squad. Jacasmo trying to hold from back pillar. Not quite going well, and he will eventually fall. Man advantage 3D Max looks good. All the kills just keep rolling in, and the B bomb site secured.
Lurk player by excl will be caught by BlameF, but this is just going to be a save call for Crimson Blame. Unfortunately, nothing they can do in terms of a look in back towards this B site. Kind of respect by 3D Max. You go for a B here and it falls so flat, and you go back in towards it, right back into kind of taking that sort of aggressive stance. And this time for Fnatic, they're just a little bit, you know, they're like 2 or 3 steps too far back that they can't fight for that control, and they just get isolated. Well done, Graviti does such an important work. Just that first kill goes such a long way. And I feel like when Jambo falls, he's that last kind of beacon for them. He had a bit of a gap coming through from Coffins. When he falls, that is the round falling with it. Nice work from the youngster. Only the 1 kill, but it's worth its weight in gold. 3D Max, bite back. And this is the issue, kind of what we were saying for Fnatic. It's all well and good getting around on the board, but you have to use that as a catalyst to further rounds. Start building up a bit of a foundation. And so far, we're not there. I mean, already 6 rounds T-side Inferno. Well, I'd say we'd be pretty happy with that. And the way 3D Max are playing so far, it'd be so unlikely that it stops at 6.
It's also such a kind of beautiful thing to see from, you know, a high-level team at the moment that is one of these gatekeeper teams that we like talking about for the top level. Playing a bit faster, playing kind of aggressive, you know? They're not just sort of walking around for a minute and then going back and forth. They're not afraid to take the fights, and, well, you can see why. They find great success Maybe a hold here for Fear. The transfer is clean. And you could certainly see it from that angle that he was going to get away with a couple. So he has stemmed the tide. He has slowed them down here. Big fight towards middle. Crims, you got to be careful. Oh, that's a gun difference, the dink for dink. However, XCC's traded out. Maka does his duty as well. It's back. It's fourth. But it's a 2-on-1 for 3D Max.
Yeah, and it's just a foot race to the A site, really. I like the idea of what Maka does there. He drops the bomb. He knows that there is a chance that Fear could have early rotated, but Body picks it up and run the whole way. And again, for Fear, I mean, do you actually give this a look in? Right? It's a 1 versus 2, so numbers-wise, it doesn't feel too bad. I mean, he's quick on the flank here. He just about missed the timing of dropping the bomb, but this is a tough round for him. You got a belt of util to work with, a kit, but he's just got 11 points of HP. That's the thing that makes life so difficult in this round. To isolate these fights for Fear would be generational, and Maka will stop it short. 7-2-1. The French are farming at the moment. The orb recovered as well, and All starts well. 2 kills found, spamming through the smokes. When Blame falls as well, that's where the round basically falls with it. It's a great job by Fear to get these 2, but he just left with so much to do.
Yeah, it is unfortunate because it is kind of close, I think, for Fnatic. But 3D Max, just relentless as well is the thing, you know, as we're saying, the style is very, very quick. And when they're finding success with that, they don't really feel the need to take it back to basics and play that tit-for-tat sort of style that the T side of Inferno can sometimes have. We're also not even necessarily seeing them go that deep on like executes and things. You know, it's very pack heavy, very contact heavy, very burst heavy, we might say. So yeah, looking very good, and I think it is just so difficult to deal with, and a style that certainly gets in your head as well. We talked about this yesterday, but it brings into question some of the conventional rules, and they get away with things that they're not supposed to.
Yeah, and the issue really with kind of what's happening at the moment is that for Fnatic, they're just being suffocated in every single one of these rounds. They're not being given kind of the control that they really want, and even when they're trying to take it, they're being punished for it. Overextensions, even ever so slightly, they'll fall. We just saw that, of course, in towards Banana. This is sort of where we're at with 3D Max at the moment, hence why we'll kind of keep lumping the praise on for this side, because they do look so revitalized, so refreshed as a team. And they have such confidence in themselves and how they like to approach their Counter-Strike. I'll always admit that kind of in the previous sort of iteration, quote-unquote, of sort of this 3D Max side, I didn't like the Counter-Strike. I didn't like watching it. I thought it was quite stale to watch. As much as it was successful, I never wanted to really back them because ultimately it's quite boring. It's just not the case anymore. They're fun to watch. They have a lot of individuals who can step up, and they have so many different kind of facets of where firepower can come from. And we haven't really seen it yet, but Maka has these moments where he can really pop off. We know that since he's been freed up from the reins of this side as well, he looks a lot better. I mean, we spoke about XSC, so I think individually is really taken up a notch. But they have so many different people who can take a lot of these early fights, take a lot of early control. And for Fnatic, they're quite reliant on a couple of heroes. Like Jambo, I think one of the issues for him is that his ceiling is so high, but he lacks consistency. Mm-hmm. That's always been kind of one of the things I've had with this Fnatic side. You can tell that there's, at least for the most part, the right pieces here, but it makes life difficult.
Well, I mean, what do you think in terms of like the energy, the atmosphere of the team? Is there going to be this big shift, sort of getting the band back together, the old Passion UA core coming together? Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, first and foremost, like the Jacasmo pickup, I actually really like. Jacasmo is such a good player. Like, you know, I do not hate that at all. I mean, I was pretty vocal that I was really against the move of kind of taking out Cypher. And there was, you know, rather than the kind of
fashion of it also.
Yeah, exactly. And rather than
bit of taste.
You know, I'll hold my hands up. Do I have UK bias? Of course, right? I'm going to back the boys, right? And back UK Counter-Strike. But it's not even that. I think in a spot like this, when you look at the pickup, I think Jacasmo is a great addition. And maybe if it was something like minus Crims for Jacasmo, right? That's always that was like a name that was thrown around a lot. I think role-wise it made a lot more sense because you look towards this side now, they actually need somebody who, you know, in a spot like this where they're at, they are being overran by individuals. You kind of touched on it. At the moment, 3D Max are playing fundamentally quite simple Counter-Strike. They're playing as a pack, they're playing as a unit, and they're just trading their way through. What do you need in a spot like this? a relentlessly aggressive rifler that's going to make life so difficult. They're going to take fights before you even think that somebody can be there. That's Cypher ultimately, right? So this is kind of one of the issues with them. Is it feels like you've got the right pieces, but do you have kind of this takeover player? Like, we're not looking to Blame anymore, so that Blame is going to be a lot better now when we're talking about him in the late rounds, right? That's where kind of, you know, maybe in the past, I think, especially when he got brought in towards Fnatic initially, it was like, Blame, right, we actually need you to be dropping like 20 plus a game, right? We're needing you to be really up there for us to have a chance. Thankfully, that's no longer the case for them, but this is the issue. Jacasma is great, but is Jacasma going to be the guy that is going to set the tone early in rounds? Is he going to be the guy pushing for information, pushing for plays, and kind of going on these solo plays? Not really, and neither is kind of Crims anymore. I mean, I'll happily say, like, last 3 months, Crims has been way better than he's been for a while. I think he's looked really, really quite good, and it's great to see that he has been sort of revitalized in that sense individually, but it still feels like, especially in a spot like this, when they're getting played to this pace of Counter-Strike, you actually need a really aggressive rifle. And I think the big thing I've noticed so far, at least for Fnatic, the issues actually are noticeable on the T side. That's actually where somebody like a Cypher would do a lot of his best work. It's like, right, Cypher, even if he dies, he's so good for information gathering, right? And sure, being an entry and a dedicated entry, it's hard to be consistent at that, right? It's why whenever we've had in the past really, really good entries, I mean, I always think like the most fun entry to watch was like VP Yakindar, right? Like that kind of level of play, right? Or like way back in there, like a Stewie, right? Who can like fly into fights, right? Those kind of guys, even when they weren't getting kills, they were getting so much information. They're setting up for this. There's this X amount of players here, so we can override another part of the map. At the moment, it feels like they don't have that. They have a lot of people who can manipulate space that's created, but they don't have space creators themselves. So I think where Fnatic are going to fall flat, and maybe where the issues might arise really for this team is actually on the T side. I'm not even on the T side yet. So the way the scoreline's already panning out, it is kind of damning. 3D Max just look considerably more holistic at the moment.
Yes, I think certainly very problematic. And it does feel like when you look at the Fnatic side, there's maybe just within the structure of how they want to approach the game, not just like a round and the minutiae, but the way that they want to approach the sort of team aspect of things. I don't know that there's someone who wants to be kind of brave enough. That's another thing about Cypher, that we sort of know him as a person and a personality. He's not going to be afraid to speak up. He's not going to be afraid to be like, let me get in there and do something. And I think that there's a couple bits and pieces within Fnatic where you have someone like Blame that, yes, it might have changed structure within the game, but he's still quite a dominant force in terms of like the vocality and in terms of maybe trying to get his the round played around him. You know, that's a lot of what his career's been about, of course. And then someone like Crims, he's going to have a lot of respect when he speaks up, etc. So I don't know that these you know, sort of passion UA boys, as it were, that are in this team are going to have the same drive to get their voice heard. Either way, back into the action here after a small podcast episode, of course. Big damage, but Fear will actually find the kill. Thought he would be the one to go down. Blame F has backed him as well. You talked about brute forcing some aggression in places, and it definitely has stepped up in the past few rounds for Fnatic. It's what netted them there first. Didn't quite work consistently, but it has opened them up here.
I like it. Fnatic are changing up how they want to approach the early part of these rounds. I mean, a default setup at the moment is, we've seen a lot of teams play 1 through B, who just sort of hoard utility 4 towards A for the initial push. That's good from kind of a change-up from Fnatic. They've seen there's been a lot of early banana presence from 3D Max, so we're going to send 3 there early and pepper util down. Next to Cease, nice clear, nice understanding, and of course, with Crims being there, there's got to be another short player. Who boosted him up? Where is he? This round's far from over. Despite the initial 2 kills going the way of Fnatic, Fear is low. And they're starting to piece together this puzzle. Jacasmo spotted, dropped as well, all on the shoulders of Blame. He'll peek around the corner, he'll drop the bomb. It's a little bit too easy, but Jambo's going to fall. If that bomb can go back towards the B side, Maka, what are we doing? We're walking straight into danger. Bomb dropped. It's a 1 versus 1. It's all on the shoulders of Cease, but Fear will pick up the orb. 5 points of HP. And the IGL's got to leave, but look at the time. Less than 15 seconds. He's got to pick up this bomb and plant basically immediately. I don't think he can win off that alone. Fear, he doesn't even really need to peek until he hears the tap. That's the open plant as well. He's going to give him the plant. He's going to give him the plant. Hang on. This will change things. Fear's so low. He's playing up towards Pillar. Oh, and Exorcist is going to win it. Fear, too patient. He needed to be a little bit more aggressive there. Exorcist bails them out of what looked like a damning spot. And Maka, the biggest sigh of relief. That was a crucial error that goes unpunished. 3D Max, another round for them. And Fnatic, oh, they got to be kicking themselves. Things start so well, but that is the second time now the Fnatic got the opening 2 kills and lost the round.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they're not as egregious. There's a lot of moments to look at that really were kind of silly in a way.
Also for Body as well, this is a fun one, right? It's on stage against his previous team, right?
Yeah, he's going to love that. Yeah. But I think, you know, Blame could have gotten a little bit wider in that round, a bit more confident. Fear, obviously, we saw right at the end. So I think, again, there are some nerves for Fnatic. There's also got to be careful playing these moments not to lose. Jambo.
That's it.
He's on the winning way.
Oh, yes.
Oh, my goodness. He's so quick on the draw. Barely cleared leather, and he will find that kill. Looking for a little bit more. The high flick up to just one-man army the round. Oh my goodness. The brick wall on B. There's no getting through this, man.
Oh, juicy from Jambo. He wants the ace as well. Give it to him. Exorcist, the last man. He'll get that shot. As he finds Fear. Did he find that fully through the smoke as well? It looked like Fear was completely inside of it, so that might have been a bit of a fortunate shot. But again, second time we've seen Exorcist called upon in a 1 versus 5. First time, I didn't even get 1 kill. This time, gets the first, Blame spotted, he's tagged, and then dropped again. So, a second put on the board, but it's heroics from Jambo. What a round from the AWPer. I mean, it was sort of a slam dunk pickup when you go for something like Jambo. His career last year was the kind of optic, the uprise was monumental. And it's moments like this. This last shot, by the way, what a flick to find. Whew. Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah, I think when the community reception around a pickup like that is, there's not much controversy going on when you're in this 1.5 as Fnatic are, you know, trying to rebuild the past couple of years. Jambo gets picked up and everyone just kind of responded. They were like, yep.
This is good.
Great pickup. There's not really like an argument around, ooh, I don't know, they maybe could have got this guy, or Jambo's got an issue with this, etc., etc. I think if he'd gone to a higher up team, maybe, but for a team like Fnatic, it's just such a perfect find.
Yeah, agreed. Quick on the flank. Exorcist will fall as Blame had already pushed top of car. Boost up here, but a molly, it doesn't spread. Oh, it actually doesn't go deep enough, but Maka will still lose his head. So they know there's another player who Jambo will find. Is all on the shoulders of Lucky. A Tech 9 and a dream that falls short. Crims will close with the defuse as well. But if we're being honest, it's a low buy round with Tech 9s, 2 kills on a bomb plant. I don't think 3D Max are too upset with that one. It's given them a decent amount of cash to work with heading into the final round of the half. I think maybe even a little bit more patience from 3D Max, and they genuinely could have walked away with that round. I think the only thing they just didn't expect was how quick Blame got up Banana. Yeah. They, you know, you can see Exorcist, he was holding to re-smoking towards CT to kind of set themselves up. He was very much caught off guard by that. If they had just maybe understood that extremity has actually been unchecked for a while, could have been a different case. But either way, bomb plant, a couple of kills. You don't mind that. Money to work with in towards the final round of the half. Fnatic are at least having some building blocks here, but we still need more.
Yeah, one more and we're like, okay, that's a fair enough recovery, but if it stays at 3, it's not really going to be enough to get us excited. Crims getting excitable, finds them both. Lovely transfer. Makes it look easy. Will survive very low, but you know, you see all this damage that's been done as well to the rest of the Frenchmen. It really doesn't look too good, to say the least. They try and make something happen in Banana, and it doesn't. Tiny bit of nade damage, not going to make enough of a difference. We need some wildness to go their way.
You know, Chikasma is short. You just heard him shoot.
Yeah. Little bits of info being picked up, but a rotation around from one of the B players, I think, going to make it hard for this bomb to get in. However, maybe if they pivot back towards B, there is a chance over there.
They've got time, you know. 40 seconds. Smoke back in towards mid. Another smoke picked up by Maka as well. Only one towards B. All on the shoulders of Fear. He's not done too bad so far. 7 and 8 out the gates, but he's not super healthy.
Yeah, it has to be perfect here from him, really. Good angle for it. He is going to get smoked off. Yeah, I was going to say, that seems to have maybe not hit in the way that they would have wanted, so he's not in a bad spot. He gets a flash in, goes ahead of it as well, and will find the kills. They were not expecting him there at all. Coffin Smoke fails out, so unfortunately, the hype that we were wanting from a post-plant situation just never arrives for 3D Max, and Fnatic close the gap as best they possibly can. Takes them, obviously, too long to get going, but it might not cost them as deeply now that they've brought it within 4 rounds.
Yeah. 4 rounds it's serviceable, I think is ultimately the way to put it, but still quite the kind of deficit that they need to recover from. And now, of course, it's 3D Max going on towards the CT side. They've done a lot of decent work on the CT side, 3D Max. They're quite difficult to break apart on this defense. And this is where we probably are going to see a lot more from Maka. We didn't get a lot of an insight from him on that T side, but he does good work on the CT side. He's given a lot of kind of free real estate to kind of express himself, as we spoke about for Exorcist on the T sides. Maka does that a lot more on the CT.
It's another thing I think that's freed him up, right? Like,
yeah.
he is able to just be a bit more of an individual, whereas, again, it felt like the older calling style was pretty heavily around him.
Yes.
I think that they also maybe had a few too many voices going on, because we've had Body on an IGL in the past, and I think may have taken the reins within this team at one point, and then back to Maka, and across to Graviti. It's all very interesting in that sense, but yeah, I feel Maka not having as much pressure on him is kind of fair. It's a bit of an Orpa's dream, though, isn't it? Like, to have that period in your career to be the IGL as well. And if you can do both, then all of a sudden your stock like goes through the roof.
Everyone wants to be fallen.
Exactly.
Everyone wants to be fallen. Very few can do it really well.
Yeah. I was thinking Cadian myself.
Boo. Flame. P250. These dualies up close is the thing that really worries me, because Crimson's going to be clipped by the hands of Graviti. The second pair of dualies of Lucky and Nexus also fall. They've got to realize there's actually still 2 more players towards A. Yeah, I think now they definitely do. That's Graviti, the Apps player, who's seen off. Maka trying to prioritize picking up the dualies nearly at the cost of his life. There's 1 player towards B. Fnatic now realizes, and Blame's going to be left here to lurk, but dualies up close are difficult to deal with, and Graviti gets another. All Fnatic just a little too isolated as they head back towards B, but Maka's joined. He's rotated over, so Body's not alone in this venture. He's also got a kid as well. If Body can just stay alive, he can buy time. They're going to try and plant in the smoke. They don't even think about the possibility of there being Body backside, and Maka will swing through the smoke. Textbook from 3D Max, the individual step up. It's Graviti who leads by example with a 3-piece. Great round, all in all.
Yeah, been pretty quiet, but he'll take an impactful pistol for sure. Difficult for Fnatic. I think there was space created by Jacasmo, but they don't really do anything with it. And yeah, I mean, 40 seconds left on the clock. They're not really together. I think you got to clear things a little bit there before getting that bomb down. They were overzealous with the plan. And again, it just goes that the nerves are definitely running high at the moment in the Fnatic camp, and it's affecting the decisions. It does get in your head. It can be difficult to deal with, and unfortunately, as we like to say, the only way to improve is to experience it and to reflect after the fact. You just hope that you don't go down 2-0. You worked very, very hard to get here.
That's bomb.
Yeah, trapped up here, Maka. Nearly goes down. A little bit of a jump scare for him, but this MP9 is making quick work of these unarmored opponents. Maka is so crisp on it. Not going to be able to get the ace here, but he has made plenty of cash. Jacasmo, not sure which angle to check. Comes away with 1. Always going to be nice individually, but no real sweat for 3D Max. Double digits now. Looking scary for Fnatic. We got to get something going.
Can't believe as well, we brought up all IGLs, and we didn't bring up the GO on his map, Jane. Of course, he defined how this sort of map is sort of played in a sense now, right? Jane time, the saves, it all came from Inferno. Look at him now, right?
You say that in like a praising way. Yesterday you were like, Inferno sucks, James ruined the map. And
Yeah,
now you're like,
but I do love James.
James is the GOAT.
He is the GOAT.
Designed Inferno.
Don't talk about my boy like that, right?
Yeah, whatever.
Him and his pre-match routine.
All right.
Working wonders. 10-4. And 3D Max, wherever they did, at the moment looking great. Didn't actually go as kind of deep as they wanted. The first full buy for Fnatic, and one of the last hurrahs of them getting an investment in and a chance to put pressure back on towards 3D Max. It is generally a bonus, but they do have an AWP in play for Maka. And speaking of, that AWP might get a test in just a second. Crims is lurking around Boiler. If he peeks his head, he'll fall.
Not loads of utility here left for Fnatic. And I think they were
Or
really...
3D Max, to be fair.
Yeah, this is true. Both teams really banking on the banana control, right? And
There's got to be a couple of smokes towards B, surely.
a bit later, you would assume so. Jacasmo, I think, quickly boosted up there to find that kill, but they're not necessarily dedicating to it. They've still got bits of control towards brackets, or at the very least, like information. Maybe control with a small C. Ooh, that's awkward for Graviti. Gonna have to drop back after the sound cue. Meanwhile, Maka goes down. This is a kind of all over the place round. The bomb is actually going towards B. There's a crunch in there. Graviti was trying to help out on A, but little does he know, they were after him the whole time. Nicely done here from Fnatic to just crunch in like that. Everybody plays their part very, very well.
Yeah, agreed. It's actually a really decent mid-round there, called by Fear. Kind of pulling them back towards B. That split through Archers does very, very well. You take CT control, and then from there, only going one way. excl still saved that AWP. Lucky with an M4, and they have money to buy back in around this. And the main thing is, you know, this was a bonus buy, bar the fact that they brought the AWP into play. But if the AWP stays alive, it's fine. There is a late lurk coming through. Crims, he's going to have a look in. I mean, it feels unlikely that he'll get anything this late in the round. As long as XC stays tucked, should be no issues. Crims is very low. Maka, it was an audacious flick from him to try and find the Boiler player. Didn't go as planned, but they'll stay tucked. Crims won't dive out of balcony. So a flawless round for Fnatic to find a fifth. But we still need a lot more. I still don't really feel that 3D Max are breaking too much of a sweat at the moment. They're not feeling too much pressure. Their rounds as a whole are pretty simple. But Fnatic aren't able to go toe-to-toe in terms of individuals. And it's not a bad performance. I mean, basically, everybody towards Fnatic is stepping up in some way. There's no gaps in terms of the numbers department. They are just being outplayed in terms of, we spoke about this on the T side, the pack mentality from 3D Max, really difficult to find. And so far on the CT side, they're trying to find ways to make life uncomfortable. But Maka, this is what we spoke about. He's a lot freer on this CT side. He roams around the map, this time playing out through the early B based on spawns. A double stack in towards apartments. Fnatic are going to get short control. That itself is good, but if they overlook the possibility of there being two here, this could be rough. They don't though, Crims. Good due diligence as he doubles back to check. The AWP of Maka for one. Does he expect the second up close as well? Jambo could be the one to punish. He's tucked in towards his corner. Maka holding and finding. Jambo had to get that kill, and the round swings back in favor of the French.
Very keen finds in from the AWP. We'll see what Fnatic are able to do. I mean, they kind of abandoned the A idea while that was going down anyway. Feels awkward from here. 45 seconds left. So plenty of time. They got the CT smoke, and actually perfect time for that as Lucky is... Body is playing so far back.
Yeah. I like this play, though. In a spot like this, play the numbers, right? Even if he gets smoked out, just wait, hold for that rotation to come through. I don't actually really hate it.
It's not an awful idea, but for me, we've got the AWP here. We've got no flashes remaining. They're so far away on this rotation as well. I mean, they are going to... Oh, man. And they went down mid and then bailed. So there's a lot of time bought here for Fnatic, actually. There will be a couple smokes retrieved, but I don't know how I feel about this one. To be honest with you, the numbers are good, but they are easily thinned. Unfortunately, if you go for it, you've got to find success. It's all going to be on Fear, but he's right on the edge of this smoke. They are watching for him, nearly gets away with it, but not quite, and 3D Max will mount the retake. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to point out something really quite strange in this game.
Go on.
3D Max, I'm pretty sure, might want to do some hard maths on it, but 3D Max on less kills overall going into that round than Fnatic.
There you go.
Very strange, you know, just the fact that there's so many rounds ahead.
Makes it probably even more damning as well, really, to Fnatic. And like I said, Fnatic aren't playing bad in terms of the individuals. Everyone's sort of stepping up. It's actually just the fact that in terms of the system, it's getting broken down. 3D Max looking great. Good retake as well. I mean, that smoke couldn't have been better placed. You're smoking off Banana, the only place that Fear's playing, and he has to hit the gamble. He has to try and push through the smoke there. There's nothing really he could have done. He trains across it on towards the bomb, but he also realizes that if I spam here, I'm dead. He was low, so he had to really push through and hope that late in towards that defuse, he could have got him off. Really small chance of him making anything out of that round, but 3D Max pulling further and further away. Unfortunately, I don't really know what you talk about really here if you're a Fnatic. Like we said, the individuals are present. No one's really lacking. I mean, generally, of course, you know, you look towards Fear and maybe the numbers department who has struggled at times for Fnatic. He's not. He's doing fine. Right? He's getting his own. He's holding his own as well. And on CT side, when he was playing through B, I thought was actually looking pretty solid, to be fair. But it still isn't making a difference at the moment. It's comfortable cruising for this 3D Max side who consider themselves the favorites. We also sort of consider them the favorites left in this playoff bracket. And the Counter-Strike is good. Looks like this was a attack pause turn tech.
Yeah, unfortunate. It does seem to be a little bit of an issue sometimes with the pauses.
First day on the stage.
Teething issues, yeah.
Yeah. Winner of this, of course, goes on to play Liquid. And I think, you know, let's say we go with the assumption that it's 3D Max. They've had a decent run to that final. Liquid haven't exactly looked super strong. I mean, they've had moments where they've definitely obviously been beatable. You look at kind of their run in the groups. Yeah, it was good, don't get me wrong. I mean, straight to the semis for them. But there's been these pockets here and there where Liquid aren't super convincing just yet. They're not enough, at least, where it's like, I can have like full belief in them that they can make this kind of run all the way to kind of lift this trophy. Not at the very least. And on the flip side as well, you know, to follow this game, we've got Legacy taken on FUT. Really interested in that game. I'm and have been so high on the FUT stocks. This is such a cool team to watch. I think Graviti's one of, if not the best fragging IGL in Tier 2. Yeah. I think it's hard to debate anybody that is better in terms of fragging IGLs at the moment, but his calling is class. They've got such good individuals. Demon's been looking so clean. Maybe not as much this tournament, but in general for FUT. And Longs, what a pickup, right? I mean, it was a guy who I think had lost a lot of stock. He was obviously considered this wonder kid back in the day, coming through Sprout, but things didn't pan out for him in the few opportunities he got towards the top. That's back to his best exercise. It's spam balls through the wall. Oh my god. A super labored fight that somehow Exercise comes out on top of. He's left reeling though.
Oh, good timing from Graviti. Nade will finish off Exercise. 4 on 3. Fnatic trying to pick up the pace towards B as they indeed maybe figure out that it's a heavier A lean at the moment, but now that we look at it, the rotation's pretty quick from Graviti. Can't put a stop to them getting into the site, but when it comes to that bomb plant, there is a fair chance for 3D Max. They've got good info. They can sort of keep them at bay.
They're saving.
Maybe. I think they're looking to go fast down Banana. There's some weirdness going on.
Leaving it late if they are.
Retake calls. Yeah, I mean, it looks like they are going though. It looks like they are going pretty thick and fast, but still, can't stop, guys. Can't stop to check your angles. You're gonna have to just keep on going and hope for the best here. Fear with one well-placed flashbang might just have done enough to buy the time. Is there enough to get this defuse in? I think just about. It's awfully close. Doesn't quite tick over to the white, but all the same, that is very much on the edge. 3D Max, wild, but they get it done.
God, they leave it late, but give them credit. That is an excellent retake. They could not make a single mistake, and they don't. I mean, that's textbook coming through at the tail end there from 3D Max. I will say that choice where they were like rotating towards CT, they cancel and go back through mid. Thought they were going to left things a little late, but no. Credit where it's due, 12-5, a lightning fast first map. If things continue at this pace, it's a last hurrah of a buy, and Maka will open things up, and he just about gets out alive. A lucky man. Jacasmo drops, and yeah, it's a buy coming through for Fnatic, but if you break it down, it's not a great buy. We're talking about 2 AKs and 2 Khalils left to work with, and barely any util. They got 4 smokes, no flashes.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to take raw fights coming through. The chances of winning this round get slimmer and slimmer by the second. And there's still full belts to work with over for 3D Max. I can't really see a way this falls flat unless somebody completely takes over. We need like another Jambo 4K round again if they want a chance of finding this one. They're going to go back towards A, and there's 3 players on 3D Max ready to meet them.
Yeah, it's a very good point. The team at large struggling to find the impact. Maka.
Easy. Where's that flash, right? That's where you need a flash. Yeah. Push him off that angle. Force him back in towards the site. You try peeking an AWP on an angle, you're going to lose that every day of the week. Especially this Maka at the moment who is looking at 19-10.
Very simple indeed. They walk into his crosshair. He will deliver. We do have Jambo going on an adventure over in the library, and he's got the bomb. So they're going to need him to get involved over here and maybe make something happen. Small distraction comes in at the balcony, but Maka is trained. He knows what's up, and he's going to drop that bomb with only 20 seconds left. It doesn't matter all too much as excl cleans it up. 13-5, mincemeat made of Fnatic.
Well, it seems that Fnatic certainly felt the gravity of the situation on Inferno. 3D Max coming out on top very solidly on their map pick. Maui.
Fnatic can't find a way to break it down. They can't outcall this system at the moment that Graviti and Yuno has set up. It's tough to figure out a world here, Scriv, of how they get back in towards this game. It needs to be a completely different outlook. And if we're being honest, we're starting off with a few key factors for me. I want to see proactivity on that CT side. I want to see them make life a little bit uncomfortable. And on the T side, I need to see a little bit more of that rigidity that makes Fnatic good at times. I'll have to see. Train's pretty difficult on the T side.
Yeah, that is very true. That is very true. But I was going to say, if there is any place for Fnatic to pick themselves back up, this is it,
yes.
Right? This is the sort of specialist map that they've been working on over the past few months. So, you know, newer edition, that certainly affects things coming into especially a T side, but I still give them an awful lot of credit here, and I think that they should be in with a good chance of at least a closer performance. It is going to be tough, though. We've seen a pretty dire indictment of their game, unfortunately, against 3D Max, just getting picked apart, and only a very small streak at the end of that first half. Julies working their way in. 4 guns in total, so it might just be a direct 2-on-2, but maybe 3D Max have got enough weaponry to work with here. Nice little smoke, but maybe not where you wanted to lay that smoke down. Again, panicked and nervy, not happy to take the fight. Some nice finds on the B bomb site itself here as they will get that bomb down. Blame F. Looking to be the hero on this P250. Creeping forwards as well. Confident to take the fight, or gaining a lot of space. They've not really considered him. Lucky does check it, thankfully. And the Julies again start spamming away, so it is just going to be fair here. He's left on 50 HP. Disconnecting from Graviti is certainly awkward. Maybe a crash in the middle of the round. Fear, though, is banking on the tap, and it isn't. It's a full-on hold. He's just not going to be able to stop this at all. He got in behind. It would have been perfect, but he did not bank on the hold. And 3D Max, despite some unfortunate mishaps, they will indeed get it done.
Graviti, where did you go, my friend? Where did you go? Didn't need him in the end, to be fair. Can call from the quite literal grave of being not in the game. But it starts really well. I mean, this kind of double dualies pushing towards Ivy. You drop the smoke there with Fnatic, and it's a panicked drop in a sense. You're just hoping that they don't find the spam coming through, but they do. So even despite essentially playing that in the end there as a 4 versus 5 in the essence of it, or what comes down into a kind of a raw 2 versus 2 as he disconnects, who cares, right? They still win the round. It's a great stick. It's a great call. And, you know, if Fear had maybe made that move on the flank even like a second earlier, gets the kill and actually probably gets the planter as well, or the defuser, but Yeah, not to be, not this time. So another good start for 3D Max. Got a really good start at the gate. So it was what? 5 out of the first 6 rounds. They got 7-1 scoreline. They built up initially with the response off the back of Fnatic's first round. I mean, they gave themselves so much in terms of the foundations that there wasn't really any chance to respond at that point. Fnatic can't afford for that to happen again. They can't afford for it to be a little bit of a null and void first half where the response required in the second is so mammoth. They have to get out the gates flying here. And again, come back to it, right? T-side train can be really difficult to get under the wraps. Gonna go for the low buy, Fnatic. And
Well,
despite the bomb plan, a lot of teams would force buy here. They're gonna go for the first investment in towards the next round. So this should be a bit of a gimme for 3D Max.
but then sticking out like a sore thumb is Fear on the AK.
True.
So kind of interesting. We're not fully against the idea of the AK hero buy, but maybe with a bit more support than this, to be honest. It certainly does feel kind of strange. Just hanging around here in the brown halls. They will eventually make a move forward. Small flash. Oh. See, but if that's a Tech 9, that's a kill, and suddenly we get excited about the round. But it is just a chunk of damage. Does force him away, I suppose. Here we go, though. Trying to overwhelm towards ramp, and I'm sure they are like, what the hell is this AK doing here? And Fear has taken matters into his own hands. Oh, my goodness. The rest of the team, can they hold it? It's Maka in the 1 versus 3 here. He's not too unfamiliar with these types of clutches and headshots himself on this very bomb site, but he cannot keep it together. The panic, the lack of information, and I want to see that from Fear's perspective.
Another 3-piece from him as well. Leading by example, Fear. That is a big round from him. This shot here, so quick, so sharp. And the second behind it on towards XSCs is exquisite.
Graviti!
What a round to find, and what a one to pull back in their favor. That was meant to be a freebie for 3D Max, and they're left reeling. Money shot, but they have to force because of double eco. Oh my, Fnatic. What a round to take. They needed a strong start, and that'll help them get it here on this T side. MP9 in play. Couple of good pistols, and then the best gun in the game. Maka's got the XM. In the right hands, this gun can get a lot of kills, just to be in the right spot as well. Where's he playing with it, actually, as well? Over towards Upper Brown?
Yeah.
Yeah, around Pop
Or
Dog
in,
area, yeah.
In the Pop Dog a little bit.
It's a good place for it, to be fair, right? If any of them try and drop down from that window, dead to rights to the XM at that range. He's playing close, so I love this. Why not? If body holds for Pop Dog, which they don't even really need to hold for because they know they've got A players, so this could be messy. Jacasmo could be walking into an early casket here. Even a leg spotted. There it is. They don't really want to dance with the devil of the XM, but Maka does get tagged.
So very savvy of it, though. It's really the perfect, you wouldn't even call it a shoulder peek. It was kind of his left toe peeking out, you know. Very, very little shown around that corner. Really well done to bait the early shots and make Maka work for it if he was going to take that fight. They do all live to fight another day. Bits of damage done across the board here. 25 seconds left, Fnatic.
I'm a bit worried, you know.
Not a lot.
3 players here.
It's a quick bait out, though. They get the ramp smoke down and a very quick pivot over towards Pop Dog. So you say 3 players here, but they're actually going towards A, where there's only 2, the weaker defended site. Rotations will come back in. 5-7 of body is only good for 1. And so Fnatic, with a fake out right at the tail end, will get it done by the looks of things.
Yeah, you just save him. Unfortunately, you don't really have too much of a chance. They're just a little bit too far away. It's a great mid-round to kind of pull back and go towards that A site. Do you want to match up against the XM? Also, I think popping on towards B that late into us around is so prone to just, even one fight going wrong just throws that entire round up in the air. The A site gives you a little bit more flexibility. Nice work. And again, kind of taking a leaf sort of out of the 3D Max T-side book of just sticking together, right? That's all you have to do. Play for the trades, play as this pack, and you are going to win out rounds of this because you just have considerably better firepower. So a nice second on the board. The MP9 and the XM will be saved in towards the next, and still can be scary to deal with, but there won't be a lot in terms of support around it. So for Fnatic, a second now. The third, in theory, should be found here as well. Already not looking too bad of a T-side, especially better than the T-side that we had to kickstart things in towards Inferno. So there's life left in this side just yet. And you were talking about it. This has been a map, when we look at kind of Fnatic's pool, this train has been where they've actually been dealing a lot of damage. They've been using it as a real punish onto a lot of teams, especially when we've seen them play within kind of the 1.5 and the tier 2. This has been a map in which you can see they've got very decent protocols on. They're using the new map as a way to punish teams and playing good Counter-Strike. I heard typing.
Heard a couple of ticks, yeah, and it seems like from the movement.
But Graviti's taking damage.
Here we are. Slow-mo walking into the wall. I've heard that's good for your knees. It's going to be one of these, you know, functionally fit guys trying to just pull out a new exercise. But no, I think you are right. It is a little bit awkward because of damage taken.
It's like moonwalking a little bit. Oh, we're back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Welcome back. But yeah, I don't know. I guess the round gets reset here, but it is always a bit of a question. Sometimes the rule set says if damage is taken, that's it. But I think a lot of teams sort of just agree, let's just reset it anyway.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I think it's like if you invoke it, you know, it's often on the T side of things as well, where I think people get a little, we've made a play, we've revealed what we were going to do. You know, it's a bit unfair to get the full reset, but they do indeed take it. So generally all good. A few resets here, and we should be back into things. It did appear that he came back mid-round, but it had already been agreed to reset things. And we shall see. 3D Max still got some danger coming into this round, as we saw. But like I say, yeah, Fnatic just immediately look more comfortable here. You know, the play in the previous round is something that I don't think they'd ever really consider on Inferno. There was a few late round moves and pivots from them over there, and they just look very disjointed, very awkward, very mistimed, but that wasn't the case in the round just gone. So looking good and feeling good. Maka is a bit too effective on that XM10. Goes barreling forwards, very close there for Jambo. Nearly did go down, and that could have been...
Ooh, hang on.
Weaponry recovered. Oh my goodness. Oh, no. He still gets away with both, though. I thought the timing of the spin around was crazy. Body's gonna fall, and Jambo super, super low. 2 kills that he really should never have gotten away with. And by the skin on his teeth, he will just about get those kills, and they make all the difference.
Yeah, that was still the silver lining of your 3D Max. You don't invest anything in towards that round, and you get 3 kills out of it. You've made it expensive at the very least. So you can take away some positives from that round. Fnatic, first pause for them, as 3D Max will be bringing in their first true full buy. This is the initial test, and this is where we get a pretty good indicator of what this T-side is actually going to look like for Fnatic. Can we get this T-side really up and going? Can we really start to kind of go toe-to-toe with the guns? Because even with the lesser weaponry in that round, still pretty scary. But for 3D Max, it wasn't an orthodox set. We got 3 towards Ivy. You got Graviti, who just gets the perfect timing on a flank. Let's see what they bring out. Of course, money made with the MP9 as well, which means Maka can have the AWP. And XC's going to bring the AUG to the table. I do wonder how aggressive 3D Max want to play this as well. Do you start taking that upper bound control really early? And a util over towards main. And that's just to stop the initial push out. Graviti hears these steps, but he loses the fight. Jacasmo, big swing, big find.
Not a good sign if fights like that are swinging back in favor of Fnatic here on train, right? That felt like a really awkward kind of fight for Jacasmo, but he still gets away with it. Maka, advanced position from him is certainly going to be dangerous. Fnatic just resting on this advantage now, not really looking to pick up the pace quite yet. Molly comes in, and Maka nearly caught with the immediate smoke. So just got to be careful of these next few exchanges. It really could decide the round.
Well, flash over, but no one close enough. Deep smoke going to come through as well. Crim's solo util set. And 3D Max should realize only really one player here. At least 4 now. Yeah, Graviti's fallen, but not going to count 3D Max out of this round just yet. Just one player caught on the extremities is going to make this hold a little easier. And Ecstasy's, this angle's always quite difficult to deal with. I look towards Maka. He had real decent moments. Body should have been hurt there. Grimsby spotted, but he loses the fight. That's twice now that 3D Max have had the angle, but they've lost the fight. And that's going to get costly. Still at the numbers disadvantage. But 20 seconds, we've got to make a decision here. They're coming back towards the A site. Maka's here with the orb. They double back towards B, and this angle from Body is so hard to clear, and especially this late in the round. Body for 2. Lucky sees the last, and Blame with it all to do. 9 seconds and no chance. That'll be 3D Max surviving what was, at one brief period, a 3 versus 5. That's a tough round to lose for Fnatic. The best they can do is saving that AK. Great response, great work, and Body, beautiful. 3 so important kills from him as well. The first he finds to stop that Heaven push, but then he's set up on what is such a difficult angle to clear. That one there, right, that sets the tone of, right, they're coming back towards B. I've got to set up, and it's always his angle, which is so hard, it's going to push him off. I think Body does so well not to panic, not to be flustered in that spot. An important second, but there's still plenty of cash to work with Fnatic. Yep. We buy back in, but mentally, that's a bit of a taxing one to lose.
Yes, yeah, for sure. 5 on 3 felt pretty comfortable from the early stages. Advanced position here from 3D Max. There's a Molotov that was down. I think it might have been theirs. It kind of perfectly filters out to give them the control, and pretty deep control. Graviti as well has crept in here, and they've got the old smoke. He jumps the gun a little early on the shots and can't quite capitalize. That would have been the bomb as well. Could have been perfect for 3D Max, but they missed the opportunity.
Double play here in towards Pop. Jacasmo. Oh, not exactly the nade he wanted. I guess it breaks open the smoke for a brief moment, but it does look like Fnatic, at least a little bit, especially the way they play the end of that round and the way they're playing the start of this one, little scared. Doesn't look like they're super confident in terms of what they're trying to bring to the table. And this is what 3D Max are good at doing. They, you know, we kind of brought it up in the pre-show. They can really suffocate teams on the CT side especially, and they're doing a little bit of that now. Upper Brown, control taken. Fnatic are leaving things late. We saw how that worked out for them last round. And it feels like they're pretty understood about where they're going now. Good molly.
Body blinded up. Might work in his favor though. They're not going to expect him. It's the player from Heaven that makes sure he is dealt with. Still looks decent. Graviti rolling in. Will manage to find the kill on towards Fear. Bomb has yet to be planted, so not super comfortable for that. They're expecting kind of a lurk play out towards A. They are going to get it. Unfortunately, not quite in the position they were expecting. So Maka, because of that, is very, 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 very late.
Yeah.
And the fights are isolated easily. Still, another thing that could work in his favor, the element of surprise comes back around for the AWP here. He's not feeling too confident for it, though, by the looks of things. This is a soft save, we might say. If a kill comes his way, he'll give it a go. But a kill will, but too late.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, if he'd only had a little look around sooner.
Yeah, if he maybe said posted towards that angle, he could have got Crims like 3-4 seconds earlier, and then potentially could have had a look in, but not this time. Nice execute actually from Fnatic though. A similar thing of where they're just sticking together, popping out in towards B. Is that kill from Fear that's so important? That angle is so difficult playing up towards Thomas, but Fear swinging out from Heaven catches him. Really, Body actually could and probably should have got a second on towards Blame. But he doesn't. I was a little bit worried when Fear overextends and he falls at that. It's difficult to watch, but thankfully well played. So Fnatic extend the lead to 2 once again, and it once again has that knock-on effect towards the econ of 3D Max, who are left a little reeling. It's just the AWP in play. That's been the only kit as well. Maka's got to sort of hard carry this round a little bit. Jacasmo gets 2 to start things. Maka finds one of his own just above that smoke, but already they're starting to scale in towards the A site.
Might just be enough. They're actually scaling very slowly, so it's given a chance for 3D Max to rotate back across somewhat.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, no. Get weird. The AWP in between them at the moment. Oh,
that's his
That's
nade.
a self-nade. Yeah, not the best, but we'll see. Numbers being thinned. Orp was sort of known about, but he still manages to find success. He's going to be the only one left here, and it's Jambo from the side that they were waiting for. You worry when you've got that much patience and respect, but it will work out for Fnatic in the end.
Yeah, this is better. Much, much better. We spoke about it getting towards the end of map number 1 where we were saying Fnatic individually looked really quite solid. It just wasn't holistic, the approach, right? It wasn't this sort of team kind of base kind of set that they really needed. They weren't sticking together. The ideas weren't really forming. Yes, everyone was hitting their shots, but they weren't able to see these rounds off. This is a lot better now. Not only are the individuals showing up, but the ideas that they're bringing to the table look really quite solid. They're making life quite difficult for 3D Max, constantly in this rinse and repeat cycle. Full buy-in, failure to find the round, eco. And it's giving Fnatic the opportunity to bridge quite the gap at the moment. Jacasmo, a contact play for 1, looks for 2, can't quite get it, but it's an important kill to drop Maka early in this round.
Graviti looking for a bit more. Again, Fnatic just waiting, playing more patiently as they will spread out here. Spread out pretty massively as well, so going to take some time to get together. Will there be this sort of lurk? The lurker maybe changes once in a while. It's been Crim's a fair amount, but Jambo in the previous round. So keeping them guessing for sure. Lucky on an AWP of his own. Yeah, this makes it a bit awkward. Fear had gone digging and perhaps into the lion's den by himself. Not the wisest move. Man advantage, 3D Max.
They're isolated, right? This is the kind of the issue now for Fnatic. They're not together. I mean, when they've found these rounds previously, it's because they are sticking together. They're trading well and giving themselves space to work in towards the site, but they're attacking from 3 different spots here. They've got to win raw 50-50s. I mean, always, this angle is so difficult to clear. You've got to spend a lot of time looking that way. Uh-oh, nice find. But Graviti or trade, so it keeps the numbers there. Crims needs to clear, and he does. What a shot from him. He had to nail that one towards Graviti, which he does. So bomb goes down with just enough time. 2 versus 2, and a difficult retake, but Lucky hits the shot, catches Jambo on the transition, and now Crims is doubting himself. Where are they coming from? It's a timing play, and it's one in which he might lose. Bodies in towards Pop, and he gets caught by him. It was so difficult for Crims here. That smoke in towards Connector, it completely drags all of his attention there. He tunnel visions into it, thinking there's somebody lurking behind, which is a right expectation, right? More often than not, somebody is playing time behind it. But because of that, they were able to piece together a bit of the puzzle. They knew where Lucky was. Lucky's somewhere towards old. It's just where is the second player? And a late pop play by Body. Timing couldn't have been better.
Strange move. Very strange move there that we see down the ramp, and I think that makes all the difference. It certainly felt like Fnatic kind of had the upper hand. Yeah, maybe just needed to join one another, or at least buddy system it up.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the worst possible round to just go walking into the AWP dry that had done a bit of movement. So they made their own bed in that one for sure, and I think they will know it.
Not a util early as Fnatic take Brown Halls. Pop flash out, Crims up close, Blame at range. XC needs to be careful. Not exactly gotten quiet about this. He's taking a step. So Crims knows he's somewhere nearby. Oh yeah, he spotted him. That's a hard shot to hit. Yeah, it's a big ask from him. He doesn't give himself a lot of room for error. Speaking of errors, Jambo's jumping up on towards the ladder, and that's where Graviti finds a freebie. Yeah,
big kills. I mean, a lot of information just gives you the confidence to go for those moves, right? Maka does miss his shot. I think it's the perfect angle if someone like walks into it, but I don't know that they're often going to do that, to be honest. Either way, they capitalize with what they are given. And Maka's impact not going to be felt, but it most certainly is there in this round. Solid advantage, 3D Max. Just got to let the round come to them now, to be honest with you. We'll see what Fnatic can cook up. They have 1 flash, which is not a lot. No. I don't know much, but I know that. We'll see what they're able to find here.
I like the approach.
Molotov is perfectly timed there on the ramp, by the way.
Yeah, I do really like this approach by 3D Max. This is very standoffish, despite being with 5 alive, but they want to try and catch them a little bit off guard, which they do. The difficult angle of body to clear, but it's all really being done by Lucky there from Connector. Takes a fight, unpeaks, wait for somebody else to get the information that they have scaled forward, and then he can reface. Nice work by 3D Max. Just actually taking 0 chances there. You could very much, in a 5 versus 3, play that very defaulty, hold the angles, but like we've been saying, Fnatic are still looking quite sharp. They're hitting their shots, so you actually don't want to give them the chance of evening things up. I like that. It's a lot of respect being shown by 3D Max, but that's how you start chipping away at this deficit. And now they really should. Money's broken for Fnatic. So round number 10 should, for the most part, be a simple one. You get a bomb plant out of this, it'll be okay. Anything else feels unlikely. Fear is out, by the way. He's on the site. They don't even realize. Now they do, as he's dead.
Yeah, it could have been a little wild. Again, it's one of those moments where you wish you had a stronger weapon. Graviti is robbed of the perfect spray down. But they do enough, and it's not really all that much damage even to a CT side. Things have evened up very quickly here. You know, blink and you'll miss it. This was 5-2 just like 2 minutes ago, right? It really has moved fast. So timeout coming in. We may well have argued, in hindsight, good to have it earlier than this, but you know, you deal with the hand that you are dealt. And Fnatic going to try and just get a lead moving into half 2.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I still think, regardless of how this is to end, 5 rounds T-side train is really not bad by any means. I've seen teams do a lot more of a lot less, is how I'll put it. And I think Fnatic in particular, I've seen really good moments from them on the CT side. So I'm really not kind of out on them just yet, but it's not really more so about the rounds, actually about the feeling at the end of this half. Momentum is swinging quite heavily now in favor of 3D Max. That's the worst possible way for things to go, especially because 3D Max's pistols also look really clean. So you'd probably make the back, I mean, they're 3 for 3 from pistols, so you'd probably expect them to come in towards that T-side one and also take that, and at that point, they can start bridging a serious gap. I love the tempo changer. They're sending Blame out early, and Blame's getting a lot of information, space, and kills as he gets 2. The third is round this corner, and Graviti gets clipped. Blame, a one-man army. Oh, and he's going for all. Finds the 4th, and it's all on the shoulders of Maka. Blame has taken this round by the reins, and 3D Max are just stunned by the sheer audacity of that push.
Yeah, this is what he does from time to time. An explosive round from the biceps himself. Down goes Maka. And Fnatic, exactly what they needed. Just someone to get behind. Hopefully going to give them another here as they look to secure the lead moving into the second half. But it all starts with a wild play. Just give me the space to work with, and he will deliver. The permission to get aggressive, the license to kill. And it's perfect.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. That's a bit of prime Blame F right there, right? Give him the freedom. Sort of takes the round in a sense of saying, let me do my thing. I'll win it for us. And well, he does. Jambo, full blind, finds Graviti. Bit of fortune favoring him. The MP9 trying to swing, and Jambo goes for 2. Uh-oh, 3D Max are feeding a little bit, and Jambo is cooking on gas. Okay, Blame has a round, and Jambo says, I'll do you one better with the AWP.
Everybody getting involved now. We'll see. Never over until it's over, and Body's not in a bad spot to try and slow them down. Ecstasy, meanwhile, is on the secondary AWP lurk, which is kind of an insane sentence to say in the game of Counter-Strike. We'll see if he's able to get anything done with it. They're not expecting him, but it's like, this is where you want an M4.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you fire one, they're going to know about him. Oh, here we go. Maybe. Nah, not ready for Blame. Not ready for Blame. So all going to be down to Body here, who couldn't really help his teammate out to get anything done. Not going to happen. And a trading of rounds. Blame F's like, right, I got one. And Jammer's like, watch me. I got one too. Everyone wants to go. And the multi-frag round. And really, really big deal for Fnatic, I think. A great springboard of momentum. You can see it's still a good half, but a little dejected. They know that they shouldn't be losing to those types of situations.
No, they just made it a little bit too easy for 3D Max. So this is much, much better from Fnatic. A lot more of what we expect and want to see for this side. And it's fun to watch now when we see Fnatic. I think, you know, we speak about them being like freed up on the T sides, but That was good. The system is finally clicking for them. It didn't click at all in towards map number 1. That's a lot better. They've got a bit more of a sort of an identity of how we want to approach these rounds. And a lot of it is coming down to, let's get our better players into positions for these kind of simple kills. But really good work from Jambo. It's actually the second kill that's so important, right? Because you're regaining main control, and then he just starts frying. Great work from him, really is.
And it's obviously frustrating for 3D Max. It's something the main push and everything has worked pretty well for them in the past, I think. So they will be frustrated that the aggressive, angry move doesn't work at all. So just have to be careful not to get in their own heads here moving into the second half. But that being said, fresh slate. You just let what happened happen. And now we'll see what they've got in store for us. A very quick even up on the cards there, as can often happen from the pistol.
Pistols have been good for 3D Max. We've kind of spoken about this 3 for 3 so far. I should say that. Fnatic did get one, tell a lie. 2 for 1. But it is one of those where I think just at the very least for now, Fnatic, there's so much better. There's so much more to kind of grasp onto of what makes them tick on this map. As the first time this series where 3D Max really do look a little bit stunned. Jambo could be a shooting gallery downrange. USP can't quite connect, and they're going to continue putting pressure on, but they're running straight in towards the gauntlet, and Jambo will take these fights, and he takes them with ease. Oh, Jambo! Another masterful multi-kill from the AWP, but he does it with the USP. Blaine gets in on the action, and Jacasmo, the last man. Information gained on where Maka is, but a 1v5, no chance in hell. Fnatic, what a way to start off the second half on your map pick.
Just incredible. I mean, Fnatic seem to have really picked up individually as well. We're talking about calling, we're talking about looking more comfortable as a team, but they're just starting to really out-frag and shut down 3D Max, which is just an unlikely scenario, I think, given the way that Inferno went. It really does show one of 3D Max's big problems as well, is kind of the yin and yang, the inconsistency of the team on certain maps and within a series as well, right? The high highs and the low lows. They often have these 3-map series where there'll be like a really close map, but generally speaking, there's a trading of maps. There's some low-scoring maps from them as well, as it were. So could be another case here. They might get a taste of their own medicine if they can't get off the ground. The pistol certainly does not work out.
No.
Was that after time?
Ooh, good shot, actually.
Maka's only got $800 unless he's immediately dropped something. Must have been. Or did he immediately drop that AK?
Might have immediately dropped the AK, yeah. AK Khalil. The Eagles
I'm not losing my mind.
Not a lot of util for Fnatic, for 3D Max, may I say. So there's their only flash expended to get up a Brown Hall's control. Now they've got 2 smokes for the remainder of this round. Crims for 1. Can't get the second, but deals enough damage that it feels like it's more or less a second kill by proxy, and Blame doesn't even realize he's got another kill there. They were both so low that the second stray bullet connects. That's the round already. Another quad kill for Blame. 19 and 4, by the way.
Yeah, going crazy. I mean, this is obviously what he can do. We've maybe not seen it as much recently, but there was definitely a time, I think, where this guy could just, you know, take over a map and control the game, have it move around him. And he's doing that a little bit here. Brilliant stuff, looking very crisp. Having a good time as well, which is nice to see, right? I think really, really going to be important for Fnatic to keep the vibes high. 3D Max going from bad to worse here. Early force, nade to finish them off, nearly getting exorcist as well. FaZe on the way, and certainly 3D Max are scared of this one. He does overlook the angle. He does overlook the angle, so he will go down, but surely enough info gained, enough damage done that there's nothing else coming here. Some nice moves from Maka, but he will go down easily, and it's Jambo. It's a real race at the moment for Blame F and Jambo to be like, who's going to end at the top of the scoreboard? They are literally just trading rounds.
I love it. It's you get a multi-kill, I get a multi-kill. Back and forth, back and forth. There is no contest. I mean, this is actually even more one-sided than actually how map 1 felt. At least map 1, there was like, you know, there's 1v1s, 1vx's, where it was like these clutch moments. This is a massacre right now. Fnatic are playing clinical Counter-Strike. And it is fun to watch. This is a side that are really starting to look super solid. 17-7 for Jambo, 21-4 for Blame. Speaking of, Jambo dinged, so he's forced to dip away. Information gain, though, so the fact that he stays alive is super important. He can now just stay posted if he really wants. I think when you're this low, though, you actually want to be far enough away that you can't just be run down on. Blame will fall through the smoke, but so will Fear. First round in a long time where things have just gone well for 3D Max initially.
Crims on the reaggress.
Oh.
Might just have hammered it home, to be honest. I think it will be a save for these remaining 2 players, particularly because the bomb seems set to go B, he says, and then, of course, it starts to pivot A. So thanks for that, guys. But either way, just not really looking too good for Fnatic here.
The double stacked, so maybe a chance, but I mean, there's so much that has to be done by Jacasmo. Gotta say, Jacasmo on the T side, you know, I was a little bit worried when you speak about Fnatic's T sides because Cypher did a lot of the heavy lifting in the early rounds, but Jacasmo has been taking up the reins. He was 4-1 on opening duels in that first half, so he is giving a lot of space to work with, which is a positive sign. That's the one big worry you have when you replace somebody like Cypher. It's, okay, how efficient are you going to be at getting space on the T side? And Jacasmo was actually taking a lot of that. Really, really good work from him, giving them Nature's early info. Fortunately, this is a bit of a nothing round. Easy kills that come through. It's when the opening double happened, I think especially, you know, Blame falls through the smoke. Nothing really that can be had. You don't want to overhunt here either for 3D Max. They don't have loads of residual cash. If being honest, they have kind of next to none. Jacasmo's been heard, but Jacasmo gets the shot. Now we are getting to the realms of this being considered kind of expensive. Graviti should be able to get 1. I say that.
He better.
Actually, it's not even worth peeking, honestly. Yeah, I think it's a smart call from him. Just stay alive.
Yeah, indeed. So you are right that it does end up being like a nice little trade-off at the end, a bit of expense. For 3D Max, not going to be easy for them. Great timeout here from Fnatic as well. Full respect shown across, recognizing that there is a world in which this gap closes. The CT side is a harsh, harsh mistress, and that money can run out in an instant, so they have to be very careful with how they approach things here.
For the final attack pause, Fnatic just getting a little bit ahead of the kind of the bell curve, which I think is smart here. They can sense that there's the potential of a bit of a scale by 3D Max. It's only the first round of the ball for them on the T side, but we know that they, as we saw in Inferno, when they get going on T side, they're so difficult to slow down. When they finally find the confidence or find the gaps or find the approach that has and does work, they stick to it. Right? We saw that so often, right? Those B hits, banana control was so brutal by 3D Max, and it was so consistent. The mid rounds late towards A, balcony pops. They figured out a gap and they exposed it, and they continue to do so. And I think for Fnatic, it's pretty smart for them. Just get ahead of it and say, right, we now know in the gun rounds the pace they like to set. Try and test it. It's a great little flash combo and an opener as body or fall. And unfortunately, Graviti just couldn't do anything in terms of a trade. Now they've lost all of this control.
Yeah, no trade out, and unfortunately he goes back in for it as well, and it does go south. So Fnatic in a very good position here, 5-on-3. Easily should be converted. 3D Max, a little excitable after winning their first round in a little while. Oh, Exorcist, the timing was there. He's ready for the side player. It's the up-close Jacasmo that causes him problems. Didn't look good for a moment there. Meanwhile, over in the Brown Halls, there's a fight going down. Jacasmo with an advanced position. They've got to be expecting him here. Oh, and they're not. They will take the main player. Jacasmo doesn't want to reveal himself, and 3D Max speed up.
Yeah.
Ah, that is so awkward. He might still come into play a little bit later on in the round, however. They're really not considering him here. Again, though, misses the mark. It just takes one little check. Not going to happen. They never, ever considered him, and Jacasmo eventually finds the round.
Yeah, patience pays off for him. Nice work. First attack pause by 3D Max. Didn't realize this is only the first one they've taken. They've been wanting this game to kind of just play out, but realizing now that chances of taking the map are dwindling at a rapid pace. They do have money for the most part. I think it was only Graviti who had like nothing. So he might have to take a bit of a hit in terms of his buy. Looks like it will be the case. Mach 10 for him. But they can get rifles across the board to support. But this is essentially the last hurrah. This is the now or never, right? 3D Max, you lose this round, your money's shot, and it's Fnatic on 12, and at that point, no chance. And, you know, one of the things that's always quite a good sign of how strong a side feel on a map, but I think in particular we were asking for it from Fnatic, is that proactivity on CT side. It's a buzzword and a sentence that I bring up a lot, but it's been so crucial, really. And it's what's been making them tick. Like, you know, we're speaking about that round there. Pop flashing towards Upper Brown. They take that control and they stick around. Jambo holds down the fort. Make sure there's no way they can reclaim that space. It's relentless pressure by Fnatic. Fighting fire with fire. Graviti, where are we looking? Huge gap on the smoke and an easy one. Jambo gets unfortunate not to get the second, but he gets away.
Blame F. Trained up, good position here, runs out of ammo, unfortunately, in that A1S, so Exorcist has played the 1v1 well, but it is, of course, a clean trade out there for the CT side. Fear has just missed this timing on the Bomb Dog player coming through the smoke. A labored spray down, but Body gets it done. Meanwhile, Jacasmo also left guessing who else has slipped through the net. He didn't know where to look, and they've actually managed to pull the numbers back. So 3D Max, it's pretty tight stuff, but they will get an advantage. Definitely not over quite yet. There's not loads of money here for Fnatic, so I think they are opting to play it safe. No kill presents. They will save.
Smart call. You got so much kind of space to work with, so much time. I don't think you need to be giving it too much of a look in. You can go for late exits. You've got money left over. I mean, Jambo's got 6.9k, so you could have played a little bit aggro if you really wanted to, but who cares? So 3D Max chip away at the deficit ever so slightly. Still such a long road to recovery required for this side. But you can never really count out 3D Max. I think is kind of the ultimate point to bring, is that this is a side that when they do get going, they're difficult to slow down. It's just the fact that Fnatic aren't giving them the chance, right? There's been no back-to-back rounds just yet. They got a round, immediate response from Fnatic. Now they've got a round, and like we said, plenty of cash to work with, so Fnatic can respond. We need to see, if we want any chance of maybe building and opening the door to the narrative of a recovery, 3D Max needs to be getting like 3 rounds in a row to really put pressure on.
Yeah, absolutely. No timeouts remain for Fnatic as well, so just going to have to play it by ear. Have that confidence. Graviti's made his way out. The bullets are close. It's a wild spray down through that smoke. Maybe if he'd committed to one of those angles, he might have been able to find it. Oh my. Jambo.
Did he?
It might have shown up on the minimap.
Yeah.
It must have done. He definitely didn't see it, but there was enough of an elbow there. It's one of those when you're sort of spinning your screen too fast, it can kind of blend in. But they definitely saw him, so a nice find. Big even up.
What does 3D Max do here? I've called for a freeze. Triple Ivy late round. I mean, this is going to be a blob-off. There's 2 players here to meet them. Blame, who's been frying so far, and Fear also, who resides close to Old. It's always a difficult angle to clear this as well, because you don't want to hard swing this left-hand side because you're so exposed to the site itself. There's one, but there's the site player, and that's what we spoke about. That double stack of Fear and Blame is so hard to break down. The nade that'll just tick over Jambo. Oh my. I'm going to say, stuck around in the flames a little too long. There's a lot of damage. And Lucky given the chance here to 1 versus 2. Jambo posted, but Jambo is so strong at the moment. This guy continues to be on such immaculate form. And we've been saying it about trading the multi-kill rounds. Another one for Jambo. Another 3-piece from him. This AWPA is having a field day here on Train. I mean, I think maybe Blame might walk away with the MVP depending on how this final round goes.
Yeah,
but Jambo He has been so good. I mean, some of the rounds he is winning on his own with an orb, they are so difficult to do in a one-off occasion. It's just the fact that he's done it about 5 times.
Crazy work, but a really solid round again from Fnatic to just shut 3D Max down before they ever get going. The streak seemingly implausible for this team. Not the worst buy in the world here. Lots of utility, so a few Tech 9s on the sacrificial buys, as it were. Jacasmo also now looking for a round of his own. Fear will get involved as well, so everybody seemingly capable of control here. 3D Max have only got 2 players left. It's just not looking good at all. The Frenchman falling flat here on Train. We expected it to be a little closer than this.
Yeah.
And now third map, somewhat up in the air. Fnatic on the tail end of this veto feel pretty damn happy. We're absolutely going to need that third map. Fnatic with a keen turnaround on Train.
A turnaround indeed. That was the Jambo and Blame F show for Fnatic. Those 2 players doing absolute bits for their team and winning out their map pick of Train. Maui and Prof, I think you both set the expectation before we got into Train that Train would look a lot different.
Playing this revitalized Counter-Strike, Jambo's looking insane. It's hard not to like what we're seeing at times from Fnatic, and we were saying, and the desk even brought it up, right? If Fnatic are going to win this, they're going to have to win it in 3, and we've gone all 3. With a very, very good map number 2. That Train was excellently played nearly all the way throughout. This becomes now very difficult. Can 3D Max mentally reset after just a pretty dismal display, all things considered, on Train? Can they reset now in towards this third and final? We're going to have to wait and see, but we are live here. Dust2 is our canvas for this map number 3 to see who will be joining Liquid in the semi-finals. We are very much looking forward to this one as we get the show on the road. Fnatic starting on that CT side. 3D Max on the T side. It's 2 back-to-back stomps of maps, all things considered. So this one is so up in the air.
Yes, hoping for something that's a little closer down to the wire. We did have tastes of it on Train as they started off pretty close, but the second half, anything but. Very fast from 3D Max out long. They will make their presence known quite quickly. So this could be a bloodbath. You've got to be careful on the CT side that you don't get overwhelmed. Yeah, I think they're way further ahead than you're expecting here, folks. And indeed, not the best of starts for the CT side. There's a lurk on the lurk out towards long there, but the kills are still just coming in thick and fast towards the site itself. It looks very, very, very good for 3D Max. Exorcist is going to hammer it home. Jacasmo on the USP, though, out of nowhere. He's doing it again as he lands all these flicks. He's just so clinical on the USP, but it isn't enough. Anybody else gonna help me out, he says. 3D Max will deny him the hero round, but goodness me, that was closer than it should have been.
That is some sharp shooting from Jacasmo. It's really, really good signs that individually, he's not slowed down all series long. He might not be kind of put on the blame Jambo numbers, but he's been really good all series long. I said it again, you know, in towards Train. He was 4-1 on opening duels in that T side for Fnatic. He looked really good. He was getting them a lot of space, and that is a really, really good indicator. But it's 3D Max, may I say, who again get a pistol. They've been pretty consistent with them. The spray downs there. Exorcist gets a little bit of support from Lucky. That's long taken with ease. The force spy left down for 2 as Crims and Jambo going to bail them out, and he threads the needle of that pack moving forward. And he's seen off. It's a very simple round. 2 exactly mirrored rounds as well, right, by 3D Max. Rush long, take control early, very fast, in-your-face Counter-Strike. Very akin to how Inferno was played out on the T side for 3D Max.
It's something we see once in a while as well, and I'm curious if we'll get it here, but sometimes a team will use long as the baseline, that it's like, right, we're just going to rush long, see how long it works, or at least have it in the back pocket in terms of rounds that we're feeling less confident with, or rounds that we want to reset the game and the conditioning, etc. Not going to be straight up long every single round, but I think we might see it a bit more often from 3D Max, especially until it stops working, if it ever does. Maka quickly moving out. They're really testing the water on the rushes here. Crims was blinded up. Doesn't really make a noise, quiet as a mouse, but dropped pretty quickly. Not going to have too much impact. And man, it's been a quick 3 rounds, that is for damn sure.
Maka jumped over him, so he just, like, no one comes at. I don't think it's really even Maka's fault. He clears the back bricks player, but he completely jumps over Crimson. Like you say, it was full blind, so he's not shooting. So there's a world in which Trigger Discipline could have worked out a little better for him there, but I mean, what are you really expecting in that kind of non-existent investment for Fnatic? This is now the true indicator, right? This is that test that we always have to talk about. The first buy! Oh, Maka! You naughty man. What a shot that is, Jacasmo. We'll see you next round. He's clipped through the door. Not the start that the Fnatic wanted in towards their first buy. It is a... Oh, that's such a good shot, but there is responses here. A quick trade will come through from Body. More bodies, though, round the corner, and Graviti keeps the numbers in favor of 3D Max. This is chaos to start.
Pressing the attack, 3D Max will not let up. Blood in the water, the Sharks are circling. Crims cannot make it work. The spray doesn't work for him. The
leg spotted.
Maka's like picked up a kill. He's immediately turned around. He's breaking his smoke. He wants more. Like, there's just no slowing down. Bouncing off of the walls right now. Not quite onto Fear, but he's certainly, it feels like, done enough. You know, going to confirm the save, confirm the location. Damage done. Fear has to back off.
You should hunt here. You've got so much money. You've got really nothing to lose. You can buy for a couple of rounds to come, and you know that Fnatic can't. So the hunt's absolutely the right call. Well done by Lucky at the end there. But yeah, that is a relentless round again. And it's fine doing relentless rounds when, you know, it's a force buy or the pistol or even the one where you know they're ecoed. A relentlessly paced round like that against a full buy, the audacity of 3D Max. What I love this. It's such simple calls, but so expertly done. I think now we've got to start maybe seeing a couple of tempo shifts coming through from 3D Max, but this is a beautiful start. What a way to completely just like whisk away everything from map number 2. Just, who cares what happened on train? It's all about the here and now. It's about the present. And Dust2's looking excellent out the gates. Good Counter-Strike being played by the French side.
Fnatic feel it as well, right? It's early. You might say not the latest or earliest of pause, but it's a little bit on that earlier side. And I think that they can just feel that there's something in the air with the way that 3D Max are approaching these rounds and the fact that Fnatic have just not had time to breathe. Kind of how 3D Max like it, but gotta be careful that you don't start shaking in your boots. Don't give them too much space, don't give them too much respect. So what does the response look like into this round? It's not going to be all that impressive, but it is this upcoming rifle round where we need Fnatic to make themselves known, to be honest. Not just a question of want. I think if we ever want a game on our hands, or a half on our hands at the very least, they've got to get going in this next round. Scout is spamming.
Yes, trying.
Oh my god. I mean, listen, what can you do?
Yeah.
We had Maka with the wall bang in the previous round and just a full clip release. Like, it's just crazy that they're getting away with these kills, man.
It's also one of those where for Jambo, you know, the spam, you get a little hopeful, but you're also just a siren. I am here.
Yes,
this is where I'm playing. You're sort of asking for it. When you get to like the 6th shot at that point and you're still in the same spot, you're asking to be spammed, and well, that's what happens. 3 up towards short here.
But it's like, how often do you get away with that full spam kill, right?
I know,
usually
usually
we see, exactly. Maybe like 60 damage, or he backs off. He's like, well, I'm scared, but the full kill is crazy. Looking good towards short as well. The execution of the utility is just perfection. Oh, Fnatic, it's going to have to change drastically in these next couple of rounds, because this is getting out of hand, if not already out of hand. Jacasmo, nice on the 5-7. He's really cool and clinical, which is not usually what you see on the 5-7. Does give him 1, but that's not going to be enough, of course. Here we go, though. This is serious business. 3D Max are on the verge of just dominating this first half.
This is exactly how Inferno started as well. It was 5 straight rounds out the gate. And then Fnatic, you know, in Inferno did find this one here, and then immediate response came through, and 3D Max made it a 7-1 start, which at that point, it already feels like the beginning of the end. They cannot afford for a similar start to happen here. We've already got to 5 for 3D Max, which is obviously great from them. Fnatic have got to find consistency in towards their second attempt at a full buy. Oh, the orb, Jambo, he was tempted. He knows the possibility of that top mid play. He was tempted by the peak. It's that molly that keeps him at bay. He'll post up towards the default angle. Most mollies will clear this, though. Apart from that one, that's
Indeed.
the 1% that don't, because it missed completely.
That's not how to do that. That's what he was trying to show us. Just a good guy.
Yeah. That's why I say most, you know what I
yes.
mean?
Well, yeah, you got to cover your bases just in case there's a molly that comes out that doesn't work.
They call me the fortune teller for a reason.
Oh, man. Jambo.
Right, Ecstasies, you've got one, mate. Second time.
Oh, the flash is good. The flash is good. The molly not so much needed. Maka going to find a kill, but he gets returned on. Still making noise over there, and it's confusing, isn't it? You can see what happens on the minimap.
It's drawing them away.
Because it's an AWP, I think.
Yeah.
And you generally expect there to be a lot more presence alongside that AWP. So we're going to see FaZe on a good angle here to maybe hold them at bay. He does have support from Blame as well, who goes completely overlooked. 3D Max not quite as aware as they usually are. And the round never really gets going. And there's no heroics from Body. Fnatic, very strangely, on the board after 5 in a row from 3D Max.
It's one of those rounds where you can see for 3D Max, they've been playing loose and fast all at the start of this map. They continue that, right? Another loose push as they're swinging up into a short. The issue is it's too loose, right? Not enough angles cleared. They don't even think about the possibility of there being a long player. And it's done really well. Fnatic, it's good to find the first. I think now that should be the wake-up call for 3D Max. You know, you're going to continue this relentless pace until it eventually fails. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Now they've figured it out. Now they know how to kind of tempo change a little bit themselves, Fnatic. So you've got to try and throw a span in the works. And this is where I want to see a little bit more of a methodical approach by the French roster. Play with their rotations, play with their timing, force them into errors. 3 out towards A early. It's a nice nade. It's a healthy amount of damage dealt on towards Graviti, who's left reeling.
It is. Molotov lands this time around as well, so I suppose they don't have to worry about that angle so much. It's a lot of damage, and a lot more coming in there with a secondary nade, so this is looking dangerous. 3D Max still wanting to commit to the idea. They've got a small change up this round, and that's Ecstasies out through middle. What can he get away with? In towards CT. They're just kind of waiting for him to activate, I think, but he's a little tentative to get going. Actually wants to be, awkward, gets shot in the back, and Jacazma will finish him off. He wanted to be a later round player. However, it's enough of a distraction that it might have created the space that they need. Body gets off the bomb to thin the numbers further. Really solid awareness to do that. Crimson Fear now the only two that remain. Fear with good control in at long. Crimson's got a kit as well. A missed AWP shot could be everything here. Another one spotted in towards Gandalf, and Fear is not missing. It's all going to be down to Lucky. Can he find the headshots? He's so close. He's millimeters away, but it's not enough to stop Fear. A huge round coming in from the thinking man.
Yeah, the IGL does so well there, Fear. Great isolation of fights, right? Really had to step up. Crims is in such a uncomfortable spot. He's a known quantity in towards CT, so it gives him no real room to scale up in towards the site. Basically, Fear has to do everything in that round, and he does. I do feel that 3D Max make it too easy. Body doesn't need to fight there. Tucking towards Gandalf, and then it's obviously easy to say with the benefit of hindsight, but in a position like that for 3D Max, your best friend is that clock ticking above the heads of Fnatic. They have to scale in towards that site. The kill was dropped as well, right? So they have to just play a bit of time there, but they don't. They want to take fights. They still have this sort of, in the back of their mind, the kind of mindset of we are the better team, we're playing the better Counter-Strike, so therefore, we're going to take the fights. That was one of those times where they just needed to take a breather, and that's where a bit more of a vet IGL would have probably said, pause, freeze, slow down. We do not need to fight these guys. We've got the numbers advantage, and we've got the site and the bomb down. So honestly, it's a rookie error in a way from 3D Max.
Out at long here. Big fight on the cards. The nade damage again is pretty solid. Ecstasies. Right place, but just can't land the shots. Fear is feeling confident and certainly proving why he should be confident. A lot of damage done. Body is a dead man walking, for sure. Maka's not far behind him, so...
Hang on.
I don't know if they can really do anything with
Body's
this.
dead here.
Yeah, easily. That should be enough.
They know everything.
Would think. They have them... locked in. Crims is looking a little shaky in some of these exchanges, but he confirms information. They are going to pull away, though. They're not actually going to commit towards B. but this is something that could be heard by Fear in this deep position at middle. So also the bomb is just like completely by itself, so it has to be very, very careful.
I think you save it. I actually don't think you
I think
can
they
do
are,
anything.
yeah.
They were a known quantity from the second body gets caught in transition. That's it. That's the round done because they already got long control when Xerxes falls. They got the rest of the map as well. Then there's no initial push through mid. So unfortunately, there was nothing 3D Max can do. They have to go for a real kind of soft 40-second save and hope that they can keep the guns in play. It's a really uncomfortable call to make, but it is the right call ultimately. On for Fnatic. Nice work. Couple of kills again from Fear. He's taken these rounds by the reins, right? Which is really positive signs. On the CT side, this Fnatic side are not backing down from a fight, and that's what you want to see. You want to see them actually really take a lot of initiative, and they are. I think this is a smart time to call for attack pause. Of course, they are going to have a reinvestment to work with. Maka's got the open play, rifles alongside it, but it went from being relentlessly, you know, pressured and paced where it was so fun to watch, but this is the flip side of it. When it starts to fail, it looks really scrappy and really quite sloppy. And I think the coach is figured this out. And I can't know what he's saying, but if I had to guess, it's probably coming down to let's slow this down a bit now. We don't need to play with this pace all the time. It's good for early map control, but we need to start tempo shifting. They're conditioned now for us going quick, and they're ready for it. They're not really being caught off guard anymore.
Yeah, I think the thing is, you know, you get caught up in it and you do start to kind of believe your own publicity that it is super effective. It is the best way to approach things, so they just have to be careful. Ooh, with that. Boost is the right idea. Jambo unsure if he'd been seen, so he went on a quick peek. I think he could have taken a bit more time there. They definitely know about him now, and there's so much utility that comes his way. He needs some assistance to get out, a few flashes to create the space, but it's a bit of an overspend of the resources from Fnatic in a way, and they're not really able to get anything done off the back of it. So the setup gets a bit broken for a moment. There's not really anyone to thread through the eye of the needle here on that 3D Max side. So it's going to be a slow round. Who would have thunk this would be the change?
Brutal to clear this, by the way. You have to expend a lot in terms of resources to clear this properly without it being the body. Oh, but Fear, don't want you moving. Oh my God, he actually, he's got to stay tucked there. You commit one way or the other, but now he's got to take a raw 50-50, and it's one in which he loses. Damn, that could cost Fnatic the round now. Numbers go in favor of 3D Max, and they're starting to run their way forward. Body will clear, but he's a human flashbang. It just sees, as long as he trades, this is fine, but he doesn't. Blame gets two. Maka's AWP will trade, and the Molly will keep Crims at bay. He's all that's left, and he's now known. And I think when you look back at this round, as much as Fear has won them a lot of rounds, he's lost them that one. If he stays tucked, he gets at least one, if not two, from that spot. It's an angle that you can only use once in a half, but when you do use it, it normally wins the round. But he doubts himself, and I think probably part of it comes down to the fact that I've not heard or seen anything. I don't think they're going late long here. He just maybe internally is thinking, surely not. And that sort of double guessing, that maybe overthinking of the situation is so costly. He didn't need to move.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think from a spectator's point of view, it's an angle that can work quite well. From a player's point of view, it's one that feels 50-50.
Yeah.
So he certainly has doubted himself. And it's cost them. They're able to reinvest back into it. 3D Max will hold on to their lead here. A big round for the life cycle of this first half. 3D Max have got potential.
Oh.
Jambo, though, quick with the AWP. Nice flash out from Fear. So good responses, good reactionary play from Fnatic to really set this round up if they play their cards correctly. Jambo dynamic on the AWP as he keeps it moving, keeps the frags coming. Lovely and confident, can't get the flick, but he will survive as Exorcise misses the shot. Takes one with him into the grave, but not going to be enough. Fnatic nigh on flawless there as they look to close the gap.
Yeah, too easy. I think 3D Max just so simple in the way they're isolated in that round. Every single fight is a 50-50 that they just lose. I mean, Graviti's got to be getting that kill towards Jambo every day of the week. You can't be losing that one. And it's a superb flash from Blame to send himself in towards that fight. Very easy one for him to win. But I think for 3D Max, when we look back towards their Inferno and what really made that T-side tick, we talk about this pack mentality, right? Sticking as a group, playing for the trade, playing this body system. There was none of that there. Every single fight, there was no one even remotely close. And sometimes we talk about spacing when they're too close. That was the flip side. They were just too far away.
I think they had it early on Dust2. This is what we're talking about, right? They had that kind of mentality. Then it suddenly stopped working for them. Now they've changed it up and it feels uncomfortable and out of their usual playbook. So they've lost themselves a little bit here. Lovely shots from Jacasmo. Nothing coming from this eco round like at all. Almost no damage done, in fact. So Fnatic bring it within 1 now and a keen recovery from them here.
Yeah, now we get to the final round of the half, and you look back on how this half's played, and I think the narrative and the tail of it is just the kind of the what if for 3D Max, because it was looking so good, but maybe it's like a stubbornness to change, but it's actually cost them a lot of rounds. We talked about the post-spawn earlier, where Fear got a 3K, never should be losing a round like that, but there's been a few instances where the start of the round, they've got to be doing better. They've allowed for Fnatic to get in towards this game, where at one point it looked like they were not going to be at all. He's posted on the edge of this smoke. This is not a fight the body wants to be taking. Oh, he gets tagged just through the corner of that wall. Jambo's actually unfortunate not to get the kill there. He was primed and ready for it.
Body maybe trying to create something as this smoke dissipates.
Here's the steps.
Yeah, but I think they're trying to draw this player in that's behind the doors. Body kind of wants to get involved. Some utility down of his own. It's going to be a B hit, pretty straight up. Oh, B hit, but this is what happens, man. You get red and you line up as you kind of have to in the tunnel. There's not a lot of room over there. And it will just be a complete capitulation of that final round. Fnatic even things up. And, man, we've seen super strong 3D Max, super strong Fnatic converging together, and I think deservedly an even half, and deservedly the close game that we were hoping for to close out this series.
Yeah, we wanted a barn burner for map 3, and that's exactly what we're getting. It's hard not to root for Fnatic at the moment because of that tail end, right? That end
so
of the
dominant
half.
as
Exactly, so good. I mean, there was like 3 flawless rounds in that run they made at the end, and from a 5-0 start to end 6-all, it actually makes that 5-0 start look even worse, right? It's just, you know, you're fortunate that money wasn't working out for Fnatic in a sense. So this is a tough predicament that 3D Max find themselves in. They look quite dejected as well, and it's showing in terms of these rounds. This is a really important kind of 1-minute halftime break. You know, the coach has to instill something in towards this side. Fnatic are looking good. Playing good Counter-Strike. The individuals are really stepping up as well. You know, we've locked on a lot of praise for a few different players. I think Fear obviously looked fantastic right towards the start. Jacasmo's looked great as well. Jambo's been hitting some nice shots. We're getting these moments from the individuals you want to see. And this is where we're seeing this side shine without Blame F hard carrying, right? You know, especially when things were on train, it was Blame and Jambo, this kind of wonder show, this trading of multi-kill rounds. We're not even seeing that. This is just a holistic, team-wide performance from Fnatic, and 3D Max can't break it down.
Blame F on the P250. Smoke and a flash. So they kind of smoke it off, but also want to take the fight. So an interesting approach from the CT side. Will keep them at bay towards long. Meanwhile, yeah, ahead of things here. Could have been deadly there. Not a bad idea. The flash and the pick. Beautiful from Body. The boost coming in. It has been red, but unfortunately the Glock unable to find the headshot. 3D Max have an advantage. Fnatic have no control for that trade-off. And they are being red. They are being corralled here. The kills keep coming for 3D Max. And that's the bomb, actually. So a lot of information traded in order to get that back. The Julies are out and not ready for the last man. This is Jacasmo as well. You've got to... Oh, be careful. Unfortunately, there was someone a bit closer than he was expecting. He's left incredibly low. He's good on the pistols, man.
Yeah.
Just doesn't have the HP here.
He's having a good game, Jacasmo. Being impressed. 3D Max, again, though, showing how, for the most part, they've just been dominant in these pistol rounds. They've looked really, really strong. So they've at least got that buffer working for them. It just can't be a repeat of how the first half started, where it's a really strong start because you just have a better financial situation. But when the surface is level, you actually fall really flat. And this is where I'm still really quite concerned. Won't be a buy coming through for Fnatic. So that's going to take a bit of a slow one. Bar the scout. Jammer's going to hope to maybe soften up a couple that the pistols can see him off. It's a bit of a hope and a prayer, to be honest. It should be a simple round, all things considered, for 3D Max.
Slow encroachment here. They've actually been given a lot of space to do this. And they don't really seem to be savvy. Maybe expecting some noise. It's well enough time, but again, not watching. As we like to say, it's a smoke, not a brick wall. So they've all walked through, and there's not really anyone that knows about this.
Oh,
Gonna opt to drop into CT. Okay.
It works.
Yeah, but they've got to get the bomb back, which is like, surely that's what you want from this round, is a bomb plan? Like,
the bomb dropping CT is questionable.
I don't think the bomb carrier should have gone down.
No.
You know, one of these guys left alive could still have planted, even with the fact that, you know, they lose the fight. They don't necessarily gain an advantage from it. So that's kind of an oversight. Not quite sure what's happened there.
I like it for the kill, but yeah, why has the bomb gone down? Doesn't make any sense. There was you scaled up short, like you said, smoke not a wall. So you managed to make it towards the site. There's no one here. Plant. That's what you're looking for in that kind of a round. You get a bomb plant and a kill, and it's seen as a kind of a pseudo win, despite maybe losing the round, just because you're not expected to do anything. Instead, the bomb drops CT, and that's it. There's nothing really to be gained. So I don't know. That's a real questionable decision. It's a nice tag though from Jambo. The scout again in play as it his Graviti is just above half. Only the MP9 for the young IGL. Grim's just tempted to get out mid there, but a Molotov will keep him at bay. The default so far for Fnatic is taking this early short control and then making the decision about whether we commit to it.
Very early on, I think that much is evident. It sometimes can just be the MO of a team on Dust2 is, you know, smoke off mid. There's so many different variations of that door smoke now.
Ooh.
And then just go for the short control. Look, he takes a lot of damage. I was going to say there's going to be some nades on the way to him. He'd prep for them. It's a nice smoke here. He loses his teammate, unfortunately. So Fnatic in a good position to firm this up, to get this bomb plant there. They're far too smart for that. Look, he will reveal his location. Down he goes. And the Frenchman can't do anything to break back into A.
That's really well done. Good due diligence as well. The tap and the face, the weights, right? See what the reaction's looking like. They knew they had the numbers, and they knew they also had the information. There's somebody else here. Where is he, though? Yeah, it's well done. Bonus round is ineffective for 3D Max. Only the one kill. So now again, a spot in which Fnatic can start scaling back in towards this game. It's only the one round deficit as well. Still not super convinced by 3D Max. Is, I guess, the kind of the main takeaway of where we're at the moment. Sure, they've got this lead and they've still got a hold of it as much as it is now slim. But just the way in which they're losing some of these rounds, which really does make you doubt just a little bit.
Gets interesting from here. Fnatic hope to close the gap. 3D Max, though, I think, kind of a blunder in places. I think they will be kicking themselves that they didn't give it enough presence, and now short or mid, something like this, will have a lot of eyeballs on it. It's tough, though, man. I mean, you know, if you have the idea from Fnatic, the way that they want to approach things, these super early smokes, like, it's going to force your hand in places. It's long, they decide to get aggressive. Exorcist moves in, but the pre-fire is already there, even to just keep him at bay.
I think a smart call from Fnatic to retract it. It was 4 out A early. Start of that round. 3 swinging, 1 flashing. Now they are just going to leave 1 tucked. They're still keeping a lot of heavy A presence, which is the right call. The default so far, like we said for Fnatic, has been ending towards the A site. I do wonder now, with a lot of early presence shown, whether that changes. XSC's playing anti. He's alone in this endeavor. We're sort of only asking for him to go 1 for 1. On towards train, Jacasmo was good on the entries, and we call upon him once again. He overlooks the close angle. One, the bomb on the back of Fear, also falling to the ground as Jambo looks to swing, and he'll follow them 6 feet under. excl, a clinic out towards long to shut down any conversation about taking control towards A. Blame is here, but does he expect him up close towards this barrel? He might not. Now he does, but can he win the fight? Gets the first. And he spun down through the smoke. Much, much better from 3D Max, but it's all off the heroics of one man. excl, a masterful round.
Really well played. I mean, this is kind of what 3D Max do as well. I think Maui pointed it out a bit on the desk. They don't shy away from fights as much as maybe sometimes you might argue they should, but in a situation like that, excl, it's very well played. He doesn't have many options, but you see what happens. It's like he gets the kills. Obviously, he can't shy away from these, but he moves forwards. Rather than being like, okay, my work is done, maybe try and stay alive, he will put his life on the line again in order to maybe get another kill or gather info. And it pays off. When it works, it really does pay off for them.
Yeah, really well done from excl. Second tack timeout coming. And the idea is it's one of those situations. They're going for a contact long play, and contact long, it's really good if you can get up and get some control because you can start to catch the A players off guard. The only issue with a contact play is what happened there, where they were fighting one by one, and that's where, again, you only can really say this with the benefit of hindsight, but a traditional setup of just a pop, flash, out and towards long, excl just full blind then. He loses that fight, or he panic sprays, or he only gets one. But instead, because they are contacting, they don't have the proper spacing. That's too simple for him. 2-round buffer that 3D Max build back up. And they put so much pressure here. The MP9 up close. Gets one. excl sees to swing and he finds it. And he also gets the luxury of falling away. If Fnatic lose this round, their econ is shattered. They have to recover this.
Going to try via long, I suppose. It's the only area that they've really got control of. They sacrificed a lot to get here. Interesting move from 3D Max. They actually pull, like, everyone away to try and get mid control, or did they think it was going to be B? I suppose it is the former. However, team kill. But Blame makes that happen. excl is here close.
The HP.
Give your life away. He really wants to. He's right around the edge of the smoke. He's lost his teammate. It's just not quite enough. Jacasmo makes quick work of him. Fnatic stay hot on the heels.
What a recovery, by the way. That did not look good initially, especially that long control lost. And like we said for Fnatic, they had to win that round. If they didn't, their money was going to be all over the place. And thankfully they do, so they can stay within that reaching distance. Even so, though, the buy is going to take a little bit of a knock. Fear has to pick up a Galil to get the full better util. Jambo going for the scout. So it's not as good as it could be. Gets close. Ollie down to keep Crims at bay. It's still one of these things where it's on a bit of a knife's edge, but this is what we like to call a swing round. Whoever wins this, you probably get a second as a bit of a freebie to follow it because money runs dry. This could be the most important round of this map.
Minute and 20 left on the clock. Some back and forth in terms of the utility, but no real game given away. Little bit of damage done onto Jambo. Replenishment of smokes here. Meanwhile, we've had some trickle out towards short to try and make something happen. Maka on the AWP is the last person you wanted to see. So a keen start for 3D Max. They might be able to do something with. There's a fair amount of utility for Fnatic to give a reaggress elsewhere. Meanwhile, the two-man out long.
What a play.
Is wild. They could get away with absolute murder here. This could be the round. Or the timing of it all, though, and it's the 5-7 to lead the charge.
Oh, no.
The M4 needed to be at the front. He's banged his mouse, and it's given them away. There's a trade there, but it's all, for me, down to Graviti on the site. He keeps them coming, and with the pistol, he shall not fall. You will not pass. And 3D Max hit double digits.
Well done from Graviti. What a round he's just had. Pulls out the pistol. The spray doesn't connect. It's labor to say the least. And just like that, he bails them out of a dicey, dicey spot. I guess the dink with his final remaining bullets. Graviti, what a player. What a round coming through from the youngster. And Maka will open things up once again. Fnatic, they're starting to be pulled apart at the seams. Like we said, that was a swing round. Fnatic have run dry in the finances. They've got a hero AK for Jambo, and that is as good as it gets. They've also gone for the force. It's a bold call by Fear here. To force by here, this is potentially map on the line. They've got to make this one stick. Crim hits the shot. So does Jambo. Not going to count them out just yet, but the Deagle's starting to miss. Where are those 50 cal bullets going?
Oh, I thought he was maybe going to drop down, but he's given the space. And the thing I had in my head when you see this buy come in, it's like you have to get the plant here. Yeah. You have to get the plant at the very least. Otherwise, you will have a tough ride of it, and it's perhaps, you know, force buying into oblivion or until you win. The plant does come in. That will ease things moving forwards, but there's certainly a chance for them to actually steal this round away. Recovered weapons. Fear with no armor. So we look to Crims. We look to Crims for Fnatic. Who else would it be? His head lost immediately, which is not the best look. Fear, then. His call, his idea! And they're not considering him at all! He goes completely overlooked, and it's as easy as it comes in the 1 versus 3. Oh my goodness, count your lucky stars. Fnatic steal the round and bring it within 1.
How have they got away with that? Well played from Fear. But this lineup, how do they overlook the possibility?
Oh man, someone's called that he's dropped CT or something.
Yeah, and he makes it known looking across that stage. He knows how big of a round that is. That was do or die for Fnatic. The force buy converted. And look at the knock-on effect. It's a lovely tag from Maka, but they are in a janky investment of their own. Double MP9, 5-7 Scout, and 1 premium M4. If 3D Max lose this, they lose the lead, and they could be gifting it over towards Fnatic. Graviti just on the edge there of falling early in towards the round. We got heroics from Fear, but we need somebody from 3D Max to step up if they want any chance of making this round work. They need something kind of miraculous of their own. But with how this game's panned out so far, I'm not even going to doubt it. This has been a crazy map 3.
Yes, yes, and I think there's a lot in the air. I would perhaps like to see a timeout here just to, you know, even give us a chance to take a breath, but definitely themselves. Slow round here. As Fnatic, although they do have the upper hand in terms of the weaponry and the expenditure, they seem to be weary. They maybe don't have a full track of what this round looks like in terms of the buy. Blame F alone. Dry. Goodness me, with the round and maybe the game in his hands, will find the kill. Oh, man.
They're contacting up long.
It's been heard.
Short, Massa, yeah. Hang on, MP9, gets a dink, gets a kill. Still a little bit of life left in the round. We'll be looking Blame. He's just turning around. Oh my god, they're trying to fight the MP9. Oh, what's the decision? Look at the time.
After him.
5 seconds, they're chasing, and down he goes. What is happening in this game of Counter-Strike? Somehow, some way, 3D Max have salvaged this round and walked away with an 11th. This is the craziest game of Counter-Strike we've had so far, and in some sort of a fashion, Fnatic panic, and in the fluster of it all, they fall flat.
Insane. Absolutely insane. What is going on? I mean, it's the kills here from Exorcist to drop that bomb.
Yeah.
And someone's got to shout. Someone has to be like, you know, get the bomb, get going, get that plant.
Why are they fighting the top mid player as well?
Crazy.
Just go.
Yeah, it is crazy.
Just go.
And for a second there, I saw it was like 10 seconds. They picked up the bomb. I was like, oh, maybe, but just not quite enough.
My God, it's one of the games of all time. not going to say it's one of the better ones, but this is entertaining.
Yes.
Are you not entertained is the question I propose to the crowd here, because this is...
But it's kind of like the, you know, where you've got like Bane and Pink Guy, you're not entertained, rather than like in the Coliseum. It's the more goofy version of that meme.
It's not Pedro Pascal really lighting it up in Gladiator 2, right? This is a whole different kettle of fish. This is carnage.
Unreal. Absolutely unreal.
We'll
go see
again.
If we get some normalcy in these final few rounds. 3D Max have taken a timeout, even though they were the ones in the lead. I think they're also just like...
Sort of breather. Like,
honestly, let's just have 30 seconds of silence, guys. Let's just not say anything and bring it back down to reality, because this is now the time where they can take the game. The buy is awful. They're going to uncheck the angle. Oh, man. What is going on? Graviti gets away with 2. The support is here. Body's still alive at the back end of the site. And another somewhat questionable force buy. This time they are punished for it. And 3D Max have 3 rounds in which to close out their semi-final spot.
Well, Fnatic, it was do or die with that force, and it looks like it might be the latter. 3 rounds in a row required to take us to OT. And, you know, this game has got very kind of Nip Amcal vibes to it in a way.
Maybe.
And
let's not bring that up.
I'm not going to doubt that there might still be a little bit of life left in this. It's a full buy, but as full as it gets for Fnatic, it's just upgraded pistols. See what they can do. I'm not going to discount them. There's been so much carnage here, but it's Maka again on the opener. On this CT side, Maka's been so consistent with these opening kills, and that could be slowly knocking the final nails into the coffin for Fnatic.
They have nothing to deal with this car player. Smoke comes in, Fear pushes through, Maka will spot out in strikes Exorcise. And surely that is the killing blow. Jambo in at middle, down he goes, and 3D Max will take it, locking themselves in. What an absolutely mental finish to that Dust2. Back to the desk.
Absolutely a truly chaotic finish to that series between 3D Max and Fnatic. Very exciting how everything played out at the very end of Dust2. We'll go into the specific details